The following is intended only for mature audiences.
Fat boys are back, and you know they can never be whacked. The fat boys are back. Do you like the fat boys?
Do you hear those crickets?
Yes, we do.
That's our fans. But hey, you fat fucks, welcome to a brand new episode of the Fat Podcast, episode 7, I believe.
7's the magic number here.
Right, looking number 7.
7 chipmunks sitting on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that children's tale from the sea?
Step into my office.
Why?
Because you're fucking fired.
Okay then. Yeah. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fat
7
Podcast.
dwarves, 7-Eleven. 7's.
7.
No one gets a workout in 6.
Can't even get your heart going.
Can't even mouse on a wheel. Nothing. All right.
Enough of that
Enough
shit.
of a movie that's over 20 years old.
Right.
So
Holy shit, that is
let's
20
talk
years
about
old.
Empire Strikes Back.
Let's take it back even further.
Hey, Mike's got the Back to the Future shirt on, so
And you
I got the Star Wars shirt on. Crispy's got a Dallas Star shirt. That's the last 20 years ago. That's the last time they were relevant.
That's right. I'm here. I haven't said shit since you got started. But I'm here.
Hey,
everyone.
Dave's got a Ride the Lightning shirt. That album is the same age as I am.
That's right.
Yeah, the
Same
old
birthday.
bas-
Ride the Lightning was released on my birthday.
the old bastard.
Yeah, seriously. It's coming up, too.
Mike's the only one that's not part of the 30 club.
I'm
Is
almost
he?
there, though.
Almost there.
You're what, 28?
29.
29.
A few more months in August, I'll be there.
All right.
It's coming down.
Oh.
He's slowly transitioning with the way he dresses and his hats.
Yeah. The dirty
Like the
30.
Hat Boys? I think it looks good.
It's bigger than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Mike's
just,
hats are getting puffier.
yeah. I was just like, I don't know, like I have a tendency to buy things that just make me look like the stereotype Irish. I just,
You need to buy a
Yeah.
leather one and wear it backwards like Triple H used
There
to.
you go.
Oh, you got to get the Harley Davidson one, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's got the Harley Davidson logo, like,
Yeah.
not embroidered, but
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
that metal one.
yeah.
Yeah. It's bolted in there.
I was just like, I'm just going to just change my name to Mike O'Malley and shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, your last name's Orona, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
O'Malley,
Rona.
yeah,
Yeah, just put an
That's true.
apostrophe there.
That's true. Put the accent in there. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, Rona.
And then the cha-cha-cha-cha.
Hi. Oh, stroke me, Clover. Let's go fuck in the shower.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a little story behind that. Bubs, I didn't think you were going to bring it on the show. Did you want to address it, or should we just move on?
Let's just move on.
Mm.
All right,
Ah,
let's-
fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we're in trouble because a 7,500-year-old woman got pissed off because I took a shower with my girlfriend. So it's ridiculous.
Well, for some of the listeners that have been with us since day one-ish, if you will, you know that we do
Like
the
the
show.
Day one
Usos.
ish.
Yes. You know, we do the show at Bubs' house here, and you've all heard the many a tale. Some of you believe it to be tall tales, but I can assure you that every one of them is true, of his nanny
Yeah.
and the craziness that happens. I mean, I can regale you all with some of the most horrible experiences I've experienced, but this isn't about me. This is about Bubs and the sinner.
The sinner of a girlfriend of mine.
The fucking fornicator.
Fornicators!
Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so the girlfriend and I, we were, this is a late night. We went out. Was it the night we went and saw, was it the night we went and saw Solo? Yeah, we went and saw Solo, which we'll get into soon. And it was 11:30. We both had to wake up really early the next morning and go to work. So we're like, let's just take a shower right now so we don't have to worry about it in the morning. So that's what we do. Do our thing. We weren't in there long, 10 minutes, which, let's face it, 10 minutes isn't long enough for me to get my rocks off. So get out of the shower, and I take my stuff out of the shower and I put it in the cabinet under the sink because, there's the homeless population that lives with us. They like to use and waste all my shit and not pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I accidentally closed the drawer a little bit too hard. I kind of slipped and I hit my head.
Hmm.
And then, of course, she, being the evil one, as we'll call her, the old one, I'll say. We'll call her the old one. Got all pissed off. What the fuck you doing in there? We're just like, we're taking a shower, relax. So the next day, I get a text from a monk, and her and the evil one's our mother,
Mm-hmm.
are in there talking shit, saying that we were fucking in the shower, and they've been giving Elizabeth shit about it ever since. They haven't said a word to me because they know I'll mouth off, but they like to pick on her for some reason. So yeah, that's about it.
That's drama, typical.
Yeah, typical
Atkinson
Atkinson drama that they like to cause. So yeah, that's not the first time that they've done this. I mean, they used to do it with Claire too. So they used to talk about Claire.
I don't really care.
Yeah, I know you don't care. You don't have to deal with it anymore. So
That's what I moved away. That's I say I moved away, so I don't want to deal with anybody else's problems.
exactly.
Right. Mom texts me. She's like, "Hey, can you text Ryan to cook? Because Ryan's gave her the cold shoulder."
Yeah, which
So-
which rightfully so.
So I was like, she's like, "Can you tell Ryan? Can you text Ryan or call Ryan? Tell him to call me." And I'm like, "Sure, whatever." I text him, "Hey, Mom wants you to call her." He texts me back. He's like, "Well, I don't want to talk to her." I'm like, "Okay, I don't care."
End of
That's
story.
simple.
Yeah, I did my part of the
No,
bargain.
that's my favorite part is like she'll do that. Have so and so call me. Like if you're calling them, they're not responding back. They don't want to fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's like if the phone's ringing and ringing and ringing and no one's responding back to your text or calls, they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Just leave it be. But they can't because she's fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I tend to stay out of people's problems. I got my own problems to deal with. I got work. I'm tired.
yeah.
So
So I'm tired too. I go to work every day. I work in a warehouse. Work a hard 8 hours, and I go to work, get down to business, and then when I get home, I get to the business of getting down.
That's right.
It's the Soaps and Suds tour.
Working hard for 8 hours and working harder for 8 minutes more.
Hey, man. That's God bless. As long as
So Studio 1500V may be closing very soon.
That's right.
Don't know when. Hopefully sooner than later. We have a couple places in mind. And we're gonna work towards it, and then that'll be the new podcast studio. So where everyone can come along except for them. So yeah, but yeah, it's been funny. It's been pretty humorous all week. Elizabeth and I, we've just been walking through the living room and the hallway and the bathroom and just making jokes about it. So we went and got fruit pies last night.
fruit pie.
Yeah. So I was walking through the kitchen and I was like, God, I love these pies. I love all sorts of pie. Apple pie, lemon pie, cherry pie, cream pies, poontang pies.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. You had to. I mean, and then I told Elizabeth I had to go to the bathroom, but she should come in there and hold it for me. So good times. Good times.
Oh, you got to get on top of these things, man.
Well, I'm going to get on top of her later on.
Ah. I
You gonna
haven't
drink
seen.
a Coors Light with
Yeah,
that?
we're going to drink a Coors. Hey,
Does
we
Bud
got
Light won't pay you anything.
Yeah, hey, we got Coors Banquet.
Oh yeah, there you
So-
go. Big one.
Yeah, I watched Cobra Kai, and I got
Oh yeah.
it's my new favorite beer thanks to that show.
So you're liking your YouTube Red subscription?
Oh, I've been using the
Oh,
shit out of
okay.
it lately.
That's honestly, I binged through Cobra Kai immediately.
It only took me about one morning to do it.
Yeah,
pretty
because
much.
It's only
Yeah.
half an hour
Day.
long. So
And then after that, I try to look at some of the other original programming, and I don't know, a lot of it
kinda
looked like
awful.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
like,
was
you can
one
just
that
skip over these.
there was one that looked pretty interesting. I don't remember the name of it though.
Well, that's why I just use it for
Ad free.
ad free, and then I also use the Google Play Music.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause I'm not gonna.
I haven't
I'm
used
not
the
paying
Google
for
Play
Spotify.
Music, but I do use YouTube because you can close everything and still listen to the shit. So
Yeah.
I like
that's
that.
another thing. That's another feature with it. So
Yeah, you can lock it up.
we're
Yeah.
not. This is not paid promotion, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it every month. So, and Crispy paid for $5 of it.
I'll
Am I the only one that's paid?
So far.
well, I need your PayPal information. I could send it to you.
Oh,
Fucking
okay.
sinners,
So,
fornicators.
sinners and
Well,
fornicators.
I got one more account if anybody wants to use it.
All right.
So I got one more person I could add to it.
How many people did they let you add to it?
6.
Really, for $15?
Yep.
It's a fucking steal.
So because I added Claire to it, so I think I have one more.
All right.
So
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean,
I'll
dude,
put that subscription up on eBay.
for $5,
Highest
dude,
bidder.
it's fucking worth it.
yeah, it's great, fantastic.
Yeah, I've been watching a bit like video game videos on YouTube lately. So,
Like which ones?
Cinemassacre. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
see.
I like to revisit the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
So I kind of like him more than Irate Gamer. So he doesn't really do Irate Gamer
Well,
videos anymore. He goes by his actual name or whatever.
Well, Irate Gamer is kind of a ripoff of Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
Even though we heard of the Irate Gamer
First, right.
So.
But no, there's a couple of them I've been watching. So there's this guy called The Completionist.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Completionist, he's pretty good.
I like Game Theory.
Game Theory, yeah.
Yeah. So.
There was one I started watching today that it was like some kind of Games Unleashed. I can't remember the name. I think I subscribed to it.
No.
But
I'm subscribed to RGT85. He's pretty good with like gaming news and stuff.
yeah.
Who else? Boogie 2988. He does
Mhm.
gaming news stuff.
Oh, okay.
On top of that, he does like weight loss stuff and everything.
While playing video games.
Oh, he got the gastric bypass. So.
There you go.
SNES Drunk is another one.
Yeah, I watched that one too.
I like SNES Drunk. Is this it right here? Did You Know Gaming?
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah, so-
I also like.
And then Troy Dan.
Well, Smosh does the honest game trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smosh
that's game I do.
games. Those are always pretty entertaining,
Yeah.
especially even with games that I don't plan on playing or I have never played. Like
Yeah.
even I'll still watch them. They're pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
A lot of video games there, you guys.
Yeah.
I
Foreshadowing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? I've actually, since I got the subscription, thanks to Dave, I have been following, listening to. I don't really watch the videos, but Star Wars Theory. It's a channel, and they basically go over a lot of questions, like how did Luke make his lightsaber, and blah blah blah. And they're like cool, they're little short clips, 4 or 5 minutes. And I've actually been listening to it a lot this last week, and it's really cool information. It kind of because it talks about the extended universe and then the canon and then like the legends and everything like that, and a lot of really cool shit that even myself is a big fan of Star Wars. A lot of information I didn't know. So, and with Solo, having recently come out, they focused a lot on that, and they kind of have themes. Like I post like 3 or 4 videos a day.
Wow.
But then again, they're 4 to 5 minutes or whatever it is. So
Still, that's a lot of work.
he probably just makes one big ass video, cuts it, and then uploads it and
Yeah.
shit. But they're also doing a lightsaber giveaway, which is kind of cool. And I don't know if that's still going on or not. Some of these videos were kind of old, but I've grown to like the channel. It's really
He
cool.
was doing a lightsaber giveaway in 2013.
I might have been. I don't know. But that's a cool channel, man. I just want to, since you guys were throwing out shows that you dig, I dig Star Wars Theory. I don't know who the fuck does it, but seems like a pretty cool guy, pretty down to earth.
Yeah.
Mike's gonna go through his subscription and start naming
Yeah.
off people.
No, like I was watching this like really.
I didn't
cool,
know
like,
that fucking Pornhub had a show on YouTube.
Oh, they have many. Let me see. Hold on a second.
No, pretty much all the cam artists from Pornhub and everything, they're pretty much becoming ASMR people on YouTube now.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, man.
So
Well, that and
and they're streaming video games on Twitch now.
while
Yeah.
Mike's pulling
So-
up his list, I also check out Loudwire. I got that subscribed.
Yeah,
Actually,
Loudwire's
Yeah.
fun.
I love those lists, man.
Of course, What Culture Wrestling.
Yeah.
I got Watch Mojo, even though
Yeah,
like,
watch Mojo.
I don't like Watch Mojo.
I don't like them as much.
Some of them are okay. I mean, I've seen.
I used to like watch their videos like all the time, but just recently I haven't liked the content that they've been putting
Yeah.
out.
I don't know what
So-
the official name is, but have you guys seen those videos, like 7 things you probably didn't know about blank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that series as well. And then they also do What's the Difference Between the Book and the Movie?
7 things you didn't know about fucking in the shower.
What I like
Oh, yeah.
107 Facts. That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Another one, I think it's College Humor.
College Humor's funny.
Yeah, they do Zach Morris's Trash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do they?
That one is fantastic.
I've seen like that advertised, but I never checked it out.
It's great. Yeah, that's one. They also have another one that's like another sitcom one. It's called A Very Special Episode, and they'll like it's usually about an episode that involves drugs or whatever, or
About Saved by the Bell or
just about any sitcom.
any of those like
Yeah.
80s, 90s shows.
Like this one's on one sitcom, like when one of the kids got invited over by a pedophile. Like they do it and they like poke fun at the episode.
Oh, that was Different Strokes.
yeah,
That's a famous one.
yeah. So that series is pretty good.
I wonder if they did
So-
one on Mr. Belvedere where they tackled AIDS.
I actually think they did.
Yeah, and it's the most uncomfortable thing you've ever. I think it was Mr. Belvedere. If I remember correctly, it's a little boy, one of Wesley's friends. Comes over. Mr. Belvedere says, "How are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I have AIDS, but I guess I'm okay." I'm like, fuck.
What a segue, huh?
Yeah, no shit. Like, yeah, he says something to that degree.
Yeah,
Like, well,
but it's like very like nonchalant,
yeah, exactly. I'm okay considering I have AIDS, so I'm fine or whatever.
Because I'm only dying, but it's fine.
Like that look on Belvedere's face is like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I found it. So it's the BuzzFeed channel, but it's like a special one where they do like all of like the unsolved stuff, and I was watching the one I was watching.
I told you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the one I've been
You can add that to my list
Yeah.
as well.
But BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was because they had this like really good like 30-minute special on like the Roswell stuff, and how I love aliens, so.
They do the Men in Black one. That's
And,
the one,
and the Men in Black
we
too,
were
yeah,
talking
too.
about that.
And then I was also watching one on like OJ, but yeah.
I'm glad
So-
you brought that up. You were telling me this
Yes.
the other day.
Mhm.
Mike saw this video about the OJ,
Yeah, it
thing,
was
if you
it was
will.
this whole special where like
Special,
they were
there you
they were kind of taking the opposite of thing, and it was called "What If OJ was innocent?" And it was this guy. He was like a private investigator, and like his whole thing was like he was trying to mimic a case on like how it wasn't him, and like he's like, I have all this evidence where like I know it wasn't him, and I think it's this person or whatever.
Well, I mean, technically, he was innocent.
Yeah.
Technically
No, but I mean
speaking.
like saying like even though like
if it wasn't so obvious.
yeah, right,
Well, the two things that Mike told me that really stood out was one was the theory that it was one of OJ's kids.
Jason Simpson
That
is
was
who
the
he was
theory.
thinking it was, and he was thinking that kind of as his stance on it was that OJ was there, but he kind of just like he was there as it was happening, and that so like he was covering up for him, kind of like that kind of stuff. So, but I don't
And
know.
then the other thing was that they had kind of did a 3D rendering or
Yeah.
a mock of
Yeah.
what had happened.
Because I guess he was in touch with some of the the investigators, and like from all the forensic evidence that they have collected, they were able to like reconstruct the model of like like whoever it was, like how it went down, and like who died first, and stuff like that. So it like it was pretty graphic, but it was like it was pretty much like the most like detailed kind of like portrayal of like what they think pretty much happened, like how it went down, So
Kind of explained a lot too.
yeah, it's a pretty interesting series. So
I'm kind of sick of hearing about OJ, by the way.
No, it's true, but I mean like
Well,
it.
get used to it,
yeah,
buddy.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about
Yeah,
OJ
so-
for at least another minute.
So
OJ's making a comeback.
That's right, man. The juice is
To
loose.
jail.
he's loose again.
What, is he in trouble again?
No,
Oh,
but
because I know he just got paroled. So
Oh, he'll be back in there.
some shit'll happen. He'll probably end up back in the somehow.
OJ's free, and that little retarded kid from the Netflix show still can't watch WrestleMania.
That's right.
I thought he got released also.
No, he got paroled, but the other attorney is
Contesting it, or
yeah. What is it called?
How to
Appealing
make
it.
a murder.
Appealing.
Appealing,
Yes.
I was say, what are you talking about?
Nice to use my 2 semesters of paralegal studies in the show, boys.
I don't watch the dang old retarded guy on the Netflix show that kills someone. I can't watch.
Is that
WrestleMania.
Making a Murderer?
Yeah,
Oh, I've never watched it. I just took a shot in the dark.
I watched like I want to say 5 episodes of it,
Yeah.
and then I turned it off because I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go look on what happened to the guy.
yeah.
Oh, okay, he got convicted on it.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Well,
Like,
nothing
he's
beats
like, I don't
the
want to sit through the rest of
Jinx.
this.
Yeah.
That's the
Jinx.
best one.
The Jinx is the best one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh fuck yeah.
They've even parodied it on The Simpsons.
Yeah. Have you seen the Jinx?
No,
Do you know what happens in the Jinx?
it doesn't sound familiar.
Well, it's about name.
Blanking.
Yeah. Well, it was
Fred
Durst.
Yeah. I think his name is Durst, right?
Maybe.
I think his last name is Durst.
To the phones.
All right. So, well, anyway, this guy I think his last name's Durst. He was like a big time. Wasn't he like some kind of music producer or something? Or am I thinking something else?
I'm
Well,
pulling
anyway,
it up.
he kills his girlfriend.
Okay.
Gets away with it. They find it. They don't accuse him or anything like that. Well, years and years go by, and the case is going cold,
Yeah.
and they basically just give up on it. Well,
Robert Durst.
Robert Durst, yeah, good job, man.
Thank you, Google.
The documentarians start getting little hints, and the case starts picking up heat. Well, they're doing an interview with him, and this is 25, 30 years after this happens.
Wow.
And the documentarian is interviewing him. He said, "Well, this has come to light, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that." and the guy is like denying it. Well, when they cut, the mics were still hot, and he went to the bathroom, and he's talking to himself. Oh, Robert, they're gonna catch you. They're gonna know you've done it, and he fucking confesses everything to himself through the microphones.
Oh,
What a
shit.
moron.
Yeah. So then, like, I think a couple weeks after they finished the documentary, they arrested him, and he's in jail for life now.
Oh, wow.
What a
It
fucking
is-
idiot.
It's cool. It's on HBO, so
Hmm.
yeah, it's only like 4 or 5 parts, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, so basically, on that episode, I'm just gonna pull up a little synopsis. The filmmaker is talking to him about the match and the handwriting of these two envelopes.
Yeah.
And Durst acknowledges the similarity but denies writing it. And then he asked to go to the bathroom, I guess, or take a break or whatever. And it's this really infamous shot of like the camera rolling, and you see him leave, and then you know how you hear the audio.
Yeah.
It's in a different room. So he basically goes to the bathroom, and like Bub says, his microphone is still hot, and they're recording, and he basically is just like, what the hell did I do? Kill them all, of course. Like, he admits it. Now, the filmmakers were kind of, in quite a predicament there, because that's, a confession,
Yeah.
and they had to turn that evidence over and everything, and that's what led to
His arrest.
and everything like that. But fucking, what a wild,
Yeah.
thing to happen there, I mean, I think the closest thing that I had ever heard of before that was when they did that. Again, we're gonna go back to OJ because I know you love OJ here. They did that show, The Lost Interview, and
What if I did it?
I didn't do it, but if I did it, this is how I would do it, which suspiciously sounds exactly like everything went down. And at one point, he's talking, he stops because he catches himself, and he's just like, "Oh shit, I might have said too much." That's the closest I've ever heard or seen anything. But this guy basically is just like, "Oh, they got you now, man. You're fucked."
Yeah.
Not know. I mean, how could you not know?
Mm-hmm.
What a
the mic.
fucking moron.
It's crazy. Like you have to watch it though.
Yeah, it's surreal. You
'Cause
don't even have to watch the whole thing. You can just watch that scene.
Yeah.
You YouTube that shit, and it's a crazy.
You have YouTube, Brad. You can watch it
That's right.
uninterrupted.
Hey, I
and
paid
true.
$5
no
for that
ads.
shit. You better watch it, Dave. But I don't know how we got into this actually.
I don't even.
Yeah,
we
but,
just started naming off YouTube channels.
Yeah, but
Shit, now we're talking about murderers stupidly admitting their crimes.
oh, they got me now.
And,
we go.
they've got me now.
It's become the conspiracy channel.
Yeah. But yeah, YouTube Red, man. I'm digging it. Thank you, Dave.
Do it.
Ninja, you can't eat chocolate or drink Capri
The hell
Sun.
I can't.
He's like, yeah, I can.
I love
Daisy
that
would
cat.
Daisy would just tear the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Make herself sick.
She would. So anyway, we did all see Solo, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yep.
did.
What are our thoughts, gentlemen?
I liked it.
I liked it.
It was entertaining. It was good.
So I actually want to lead with this. So Lando,
Mhm.
he fucked that robot, right?
He fucked that robot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
He totally did.
No, here's my.
He did
here's-
things to her.
He's
Here-
pansexual.
No, here's my thing. He didn't
He's
actually
tech-sexual.
fuck the robot when it was the robot. Well, once he put the robot's consciousness into the Millennium
Oh.
Falcon, then he fucked the Falcon.
Yeah, that's true. He just fucking everything in there.
So, that's my
Took it
theory.
right in the auxiliary port.
Yeah. Why do you think they make all those little things like penis shaped?
That's right.
So does Lando have a robot dick?
You may.
Is Lando a robot?
So is like Chewbacca got like a
Chewbacca.
human dick, or is it like a dog red dick or something?
I don't know. We can ask Han. I mean, they took a shower together.
Yeah.
That was actually really weird.
Yeah. He's like
that was the weirdest scene in
that
movie.
was kind of weird.
I actually brought it up to Chewie. We went to Disneyland on Sunday and took a picture with him, and I'm like, "Good
Well,
job in Solo, Chewie, but the shower scene was a little bit too much." He's like,
It's very gay, Chewy.
"What's going on there, Chewbacca?"
Chew back.
I did like how Lando called him Han the
Yep.
whole time.
Yeah.
Did
Continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Good job,
did
Donald
address
Glover.
that.
Well, I noticed that Donald Glover. That's who it is, right?
Yeah.
That's Childish
Childish
Gambino.
Gambino.
Or
I do like that video. This is
This is a great,
Lando,
great
that's-
fucking video.
No, that's Lando
But-
Gambino to you.
Lando Gambino.
But it's funny when they first introduce him, he sounds like he's doing an impression of Billy D. Williams,
yeah.
and then that kind of goes away.
It
as
comes
the
and
movie-
goes.
Yeah, as the movie goes on. So
it gets comfortable, sure.
yeah, more specifically when they're playing poker, that's when
yeah.
when he's really
Sabat,
trying to
I think, is the name.
when he's trying to act or cards. When they're playing cards, gambling. When they're doing that, that's
Sinning.
yeah.
Fucking in the shower, like
In the
Chewie and
shower.
Han.
That's right.
That's what we were doing. We were reenacting
Fucking
that scene.
fornicate.
But that's
Hey,
when
next
you,
time you can do that.
The hell are they doing in there?
That's when you really hear the Billy D. Williams
Yeah.
like impression going on. So that's a tough role to take on because
Yeah.
you have to be like super cool to really.
Donald Glover
Super
is, man.
swag.
That
Yeah,
guy
he's
is a
fun.
fucking chameleon, man.
Mhm.
That guy,
I agree.
he's just uberly talented. Like, I've always known of him, but I've never really got to see him,
Mhm.
act. And, like, I started listening to his music up until recently.
Yeah.
And that dude is just fucking
A stand-up,
unbelievably talented,
Yeah,
man.
he's got it on
stand-up is
multi-level.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah, I
Netflix.
watched his stand-up,
Really
too.
funny.
Well, part of it.
I mean,
'cause I was
what's
watching it at
crazy
work.
is like the kind of role he can take on because he was on Community
Yeah.
and he was real goofy in that show
Mhm.
and like very nerdy and he
Mhm.
convincingly
Yeah.
by the with that, but and then you go on to like him playing Lando
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's like real cool and you
Fly.
see him in his music and he's really
Yeah.
cool and it's like, well, how does he do that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
He-
hard for some people to really.
He's also on that
do
show
that,
on.
so.
There's a show on Netflix called
Atlanta.
I'm Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's
I-
a kind of more serious role, but he can pull that.
I do. I've always wanted to watch that show.
Yeah.
I just never got the chance to.
From what I've told, people have been saying it's like the best show that nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Oh, that's probably going to be the next series I pick up then.
Yeah.
I do want to watch it. I heard it's fantastic.
Yeah. Same
Also, Domino from Deadpool 2 is on the show. So,
here. Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
There you go.
But
Got a
yeah,
fever there, Mike?
Well, no, it was funny. Like I was in the
Sinner.
movie. Yeah.
you need to stay with your own kind, boy.
Shit, I went home and I had sex with myself in the shower after.
Yeah, but I've seen that
Like
shower.
jacking off in
not
a
a-
soap
Not a
dispenser.
lot of room. You got kind of that Billy Joe Armstrong, the way he strums a guitar. Just kind of jerks it like
That's
that.
right. It was funny though. Like I was in the movie theater, and that's the part I'm in the beginning where he comes home to Vanessa, and she's like, kiss me like you miss me, right? I was like, oh, that's me, right? And then we're just like, what the fuck you talking about, dude? She said red. She said red.
Did you run up to the screen?
That's
and
right.
Give her a kiss.
Fucking hump the shit out of that screen.
In the shower.
In the shower. Oh my god.
Yeah, but Solo,
Yeah.
I really did like Solo. I thought the guy who plays Han, I can't remember his name for the life
Yeah, I
of
can't
me,
say his name.
but it took a while for me to warm up to him.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to play that role. I was telling Elizabeth, it's like, this is a character that is so familiar with so many millions of people for so long, and it's not like Batman where like 7 people have been playing him. I mean, people are familiar with him for one person being Harrison Ford, so it's obviously going to be a hard part to pick up, and it's going to be a hard part for people to accept. The guy has some charm.
Mhm.
He doesn't have the Harrison Ford charm. He has his
Yeah.
own charm. I mean, he was trying to act like Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
but I think if they actually let him just be more of himself,
Yeah.
I think that would translate actually better
yeah.
as Han Solo than him trying to force himself to play Harrison
the
Ford.
funny thing is, the way he played him kind of reminded me of the way Chris Pratt plays Star-Lord,
Yeah.
which obviously is inspired by
Yeah.
Han Solo,
Yeah.
and like he's a lot more chipper than Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's the way that I looked at it. I'm sorry, Mike. I knew you were pulling up the mic, getting ready to talk, and I cut you right off. The thing with Batman is you have different actors playing Batman roughly within the same age,
Yeah.
which can be a little tricky. This is, we've seen Harrison Ford as Han Solo, maybe the character, maybe his 30s,
Yeah.
give or
Yeah.
take, and then kind of grow from there. This is the younger, this is the before, so I myself just separated. I go, look, this isn't Harrison Ford. This is how he gets to that. So of course he's going to be different, and he's going to kind of learn the mannerisms and grow into this character. Because I didn't know where they were going to pick up. I'm somewhat familiar with Solo's background story, and to the credit of Ron Howard and the guys that made the movie, they were kind of true to the story. They took some liberties with a few things, that's true. But I just kind of went in there going, I had no expectation. As long as he doesn't try to be Harrison Ford the whole way through,
Yeah.
because it's like the James Bond thing.
Yeah.
After Sean Connery, every Bond after him
Tried to be
kind
Sean
of be Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Yeah.
Even I think the best example would be Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
You know, he practiced the Bond line so many times before they filmed it, but that's natural. That's going to happen. Like you
Yeah.
said, Danny Glover kind of sounded like Lando at first, and then kind of broke into his own thing. And I think the same thing.
Danny Glover. Yeah.
Donald
it in
Glover.
your
Put it
said.
in your mouth.
Sorry.
That'd be amazing.
Oh God, yes. An old Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, correction. But I just, it didn't bother me because I'm like,
No,
okay,
me
he's
either.
got to become
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
And,
Han's been through some shit.
Yeah.
he didn't come out of the womb shooting first, you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
an unrefined.
Yeah,
You know,
he had to learn, and it was cool to see him grow and kind of become there. And the Easter eggs in the movie were fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. But
One of the first ones that we heard. Remember, we were just like, "Oh shit!" Remember when they gave that name drop?
the name drop,
Yeah.
Did you guys catch the name drop?
We can talk spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's seen
No,
it.
I'm just Bosk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the name.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and I kind of marked it. I was like, "Oh shit!" They're talking about Bosk, so
Yeah.
that was cool.
I'm kind of a little upset that because you go to the Empire and the fleet of the bounty hunters. You
Yeah.
know, you got IG-88, you got Boba, you got Bosk, you got Dengar. Dengar is embedded with Corellia. As a matter of
That's
fact,
right, yeah.
Han Solo is the reason why Dengar is deformed.
Yeah.
They had a race, an actual drag race, and Han fucked them up. Cheated, but that's Han Solo,
Mhm.
motherfucker. I'm
And then
surprised.
Danny Glover showed up. Was like, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't reference that, but
Yeah,
I
that's
get it.
Yeah.
But also, what was cool was I know you guys caught the Back to the Future reference.
Mm-hmm.
Bubs did. Did you catch? You guys catch it? The look on your face implies no.
Mm.
You're gonna have to remind. Like my brain is all.
There
screwed
during
up
the
right now.
Kessel run, when they were trying to get rid of that outrun that last Tie Fighter, he talked about his friend Needles.
That's right.
Which a trick he learned from Needles.
Yeah,
Like, that's
that's right.
definite Back to the Future. No,
Mhm.
and I thought it was just me, but I did look it up and
Yeah.
confirmed it was. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
That's right.
But the one I got to say was fucking really cool for all the nerds was what I call the Greedo throwback.
Yeah.
Yep.
You caught that right away, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That ends the debate once and for all.
Yeah. They're like, well, now we know.
You get it. You know what I'm talking about, right, Dave?
Again, I'm hazy. Right
Han
now.
shot first.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was the theme of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the theme of the whole movie was always shoot first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Well, he does that at the end with with
Woody Harrelson.
Tobias.
Tobias.
You make that call to the States.
I
I kept like in my brain every time I heard the name Tobias, I just Tobias.
$900.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The Simpsons.
I don't remember.
Aus-
Bart
Australia?
versus Australia.
Oh, that's right.
Tobias.
That's right.
$900 dude.
I want to go tell the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, Andy. What? Hey mates, what's the good word?
You're listening to Four Finger Discount.
Yes, it is a plug. Go listen to
Yeah.
that.
Great show.
Stop listening to the show and go listen
Just
to that.
right now. Stop.
Quick.
Okay, now for you, is still sticking around.
The Easter eggs, and then the Easter eggs, but they don't really, you have to know what's
Yeah.
going on to get them. Kind of the Easter eggs, I guess, if you want to call them.
My favorite
Fucking
Easter egg of the movie is that Ron Howard got away to get his brother in
Yep.
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Every
yeah,
single
Clint
time.
Howard, man.
Oh,
You knew that was coming in there somewhere. You're just
I was
like,
looking for him. I was like, "Where's Clint
Yeah.
Howard? He
The
has to
whole
show
time.
up somewhere."
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, there he is."
I don't know how much control Ron, when he took over, had, but it's fucking, of course, it wouldn't be a Ron Howard joint
Yeah.
without his brother.
Mhm.
Everything he's done, his brother's in there. Hell, even
Yeah.
Apollo fucking 13.
That's right.
Hey, Clint Howard's not a bad actor at
He's
all.
not.
No, he's a good.
He's a
actor.
great character actor. I mean, he does have the MTV Lifetime Achievement Award for crying out loud.
Mhm.
So.
And they don't just give those out to anybody.
No, they do not.
They give them out to everybody.
Mine is sitting right there.
That's a hell of a speech you gave, Bubs.
Thank you. Yeah, I always just wanted to dress up as a hippie and act as completely different than I usually. Than people
Kinda-
are familiar with me
Kind
acting.
of couldn't
you know?
help but notice that your speech was verbatim the same speech that Rocky Balboa gave in Rocky IV. Here we go.
If you can change, I can change. Everybody can change.
That's how the Cold War ended. That's how I'm teaching my son.
Yes.
What's the Cold War? How did it end?
When I become history,
Yeah.
when I become the president and I get to do all the history books myself, That's going in
That's
there
going in there.
with Angels in the
I
Outfield
say,
as well.
how did the Cold War end? Well, an Italian from Philadelphia fought on behalf of the United States against a steroided out Russian
On Christmas.
on Christmas. Fuck, man.
Still my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, dude. It doesn't
So-
get enough recognition as a
It,
Christmas
it gets
movie.
zero recognition as a Christmas
Absolutely.
movie. It pisses me off.
What's wrong with you people?
It's a Christmas movie.
If you're watching Rocky 4 and Die Hard,
Exactly. I know you love Elf, babe, but Rocky 4 is the greatest Christmas movie ever. She's never seen any
and one of the
Rocky movies.
greatest montages in the history of montages.
Dude, fucking Rocky 4's got one of the best soundtracks in the history of crappy movie.
Oh,
in the
hell
history
yeah.
of crappy movies. So
If you're gonna go to a gym at night and work out, and you're not listening to the Rocky 4 soundtrack,
what the fuck is wrong
what
with
are
you?
you doing?
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing?
I've always wanted to get in my Ferrari and drive down the street while listening to "There's No Easy Way Out."
Reminiscing about how my old black friend died doing what he loved.
I was actually, I didn't get to watch the video. I have it saved on my YouTube Red. Thank you, Dave. But someone reimagines Rocky 4 if Apollo lives.
Oh shit!
So I have to watch it. So it's not how it should have ended, but it's like it's like one of those channels.
I dare
but
say, what if the roles were reversed and it was Rocky that died and Apollo went over to Russia?
then we wouldn't have Rocky 5. There would be no Tommy Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
We
We wouldn't have Creed. We'd have Balboa.
Yeah.
So
That actually would be pretty cool.
just another retarded Italian kid from Philadelphia learning how to fight. I can't wait for Creed 2.
Oh, it looks sick.
Oh, this one's going to be directed by Stallone, right?
No, it's
No.
actually one of Brian Coogler's.
Oh,
He wrote it, but
apprentices.
he stepped down from directing it.
Well,
Oh,
he couldn't do it because he was doing Black Panther.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, love Rocky movies.
but back to Solo.
Yeah, but Solo, loved. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
I never got bored. Performances across the board were pretty good, except for Amelia Clark. I don't know what it is with
I
her.
really tried to.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah, I
really,
would-
I
really tried.
I love her on Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
I love Daenerys Targaryen. I love that character.
Bend the knee. I get it.
Yeah, she does a terrific job, but everything else
with her.
I've seen her,
That's
seen her,
true.
in, she's been just like lackluster. I mean, Genesis was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
that,
then-
that's just terrible all over the place.
You know, I'm like, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, Solo's going to be a lot better. She's with a better director.
Mhm.
It's Star Wars, and then
It's like you
it's
almost
just-
get a pass.
yeah, but I just
And this can do it.
couldn't do it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's like, and it's not because you get familiar with one actor playing a certain character. I mean, I watched Hugh Jackman in other movies and I liked him,
Yeah.
but just there's just something about her, man.
She's kind of like gives off that like I'm a bitch kind of mentality, and I'm like I'm trying to figure out your character. I'm trying to give you a chance, but
Yeah.
I don't.
She's
like
not very dynamic.
No,
Yeah.
no.
She's not a very dynamic actress. She's a good actress, but not very dynamic.
I mean, she excels beautifully in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The role, the character, everything about it works. I can't imagine anybody else. I could possibly think there might have been someone else to fill this role, and I don't think it would have hurt the movie at all.
Exactly.
But where the performance there is lacking, I must say that Woody Harrelson really hit it out of the park.
I think he kind of phoned it in.
You think so?
Yeah. The scene of the big reveal of like when who traded in Han, like I don't know if it was just bad directing or just a bad
Just the way it was.
just the way it was
executed,
shot. It was just
Yeah.
like, well, we kind of know it's him, and he just kind of like walks in like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Yeah. Well, I think the big reveal, like him being revealed as the guy who gave up Han,
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to be convinced that it was Amelia Clark's character.
Mm.
Yeah, but it didn't come off that way.
Yeah.
That's debatable how that turned out, but let's remove that scene. Let's go to earlier in the movie and everything like that. I mean, I thought for someone that was already an established star,
Yeah.
because Star Wars can really be I guess a jumping point for a lot of people. It's a lot. Especially when Force Awakens came out, that whole cast was super excited to be part of Star Wars.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of people, Woody Harrelson is now part of this universe, and I thought that his character, what was his name?
Tobias.
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 Tobias Beecher.
Beach.
Oh wait, that's Oz.
I thought, I
that's
thought,
so
I,
familiar. That's
I-
us.
I thought he did a really good job. Beckett, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought he had some really good scenes where it really got there on the emotional level. But yeah, I will give you guys that last scene, it just seemed a little lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once it started unraveling and then going into it, it kind of and then the big kind of reveal that nobody saw coming kind of salvaged that end part of the movie, I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see who played the villain.
Paul Bettany.
Paul
Paul
Bettany.
Bettany.
Vision.
I liked his performance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he was
did
cool.
good.
Yeah, his performance,
As a villain, he was an asshole.
yeah,
And
but
he did a good job
but,
at
like
it.
his actual performance was fantastic. And
Solid.
so it's
Paul
it's,
Bettany's a solid actor.
Yeah,
it
it's
just
like
kinda
he
sucks
just
that
has
he
that
had to
like
die because
Yeah.
we'll never see him again because his character was actually interesting.
Well, when he
So-
plays the villain, like he was also he played a villainous role in the Da Vinci Code.
I've never seen it.
I thought that's a really fucking good. He gets really under your fucking skin and your nerves,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like you really hate the guy. So, and then he's been playing Vision. That's the more recent stuff, and he's just really well rounded. I thought it was, and I don't think he was the original.
no, he wasn't.
He wasn't originally casted. They had to do the reshoots, and the original guy couldn't do it. So
yeah, so they recast him.
they recasted the whole role, and
I will say I do like that weapon that he had, that like lightsaber.
Yeah.
knife
the
thing.
blade thing.
Yeah,
Right,
that
yeah,
was
so-
kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
It's the first time you really seen anything like that.
yeah, well, because like nothing else lights up like that
Right.
in the Star Wars universe besides like pistols.
It
and
looked
stuff.
like it would belong in Tron, not
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
actually, I agree with that.
That was very Tronish.
It was cool.
So you haven't seen weapons like that
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
So I think that was the coolest part. It's like, well, at least there's something that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
But,
But there was something that we have seen before that came back, and I was very excited for, but nobody else in the theater was.
yep,
There was a
The Millennium Falcon.
it was funny to see like the Millennium Falcon take all that like damage.
Yeah.
Like the satellite dish get knocked off.
I just saw
and
that part
everything.
where they're like where they're falling on the planet and they're like refining all the energy and he's talking to Lando. He's like, just go in there, refine it, give me my cut, and I never want to see you again.
Yeah.
He's like, never? No.
well, it does answer a question I think a lot of us probably had, and that why is the ship shaped the way it is? Because when you first see it, like that's the Millennium Falcon, but it's not how I
Yeah.
recognize it.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was an escape pod that was positioned dead center there that got shot into the fucking black hole or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
happened, and then it started taking shape, and you go, "That's the
Why it is the way it
Millennium
is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But getting to Crispy mentioned it, but the big reveal
Falcon." Yeah,
at the end.
The Millennium Falcon.
But well, since we're talking spoilers, Darth Maul appears. Now, for people that are familiar with the extended universe, is that what they call it?
yeah.
Yeah. Darth Maul has appeared in both Rebels and and Clone,
Clone
Wars.
Wars.
So is that
With his Lieutenant Dan legs.
are those? I thought I turned that off.
You owe us all a beer now.
Are those shows still canon?
Yeah.
I think
Are
they
they?
are. So
They are canon.
and I mean I don't know for sure if that's what they're doing, but I mean if they're still gonna go through with the Obi-Wan movie, I think that's where they're heading with it. Because I think it's in Rebels or Clone Wars where him and Obi-Wan have a showdown.
Yeah.
So
It's Rebels.
Rebels, okay.
If you didn't know, here's the time frame that Solo takes place in. After Part 3, before obviously, and before
Before Rogue
Rogue One.
One.
The introduction to that character, it does kind of paint the possibility of him returning in a bigger capacity. I don't think they're going to do a Solo sequel.
I think they will.
It seems more likely that they're going to branch off, and because it's part of Kenobi, because Kenobi story has been floating around. Now,
Yeah.
Boba Fett was originally greenlit and then canceled, and it was greenlit again. So any talks of the possibilities of these, other stories, and I think Kenobi's, and who plays a big part of it is Darth Maul,
Yeah.
and that could be a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of build up for that movie. But I don't know because I'm hearing.
Well, if they include Darth Maul into the Kenobi movie, that's the problem though, because if Rebels is still canon, that's not how Darth Maul's story ends.
Yes, it does.
Well, I know it ends with, but
The showdown with Kenobi and Tatooine.
Yeah, that happens at the end there, but they would have to pretty much include a lot more into the story or change up the Rebel story a little bit. So
Knowing them, they'll probably just cherry pick it.
yeah.
'Cause that's what they kind of
Well,
did with Solo.
They're leading towards that way anyway, because I mean the whole end of the movie, I mean Beckett tells Han he's going to do one last big job with some big gangster in Tatooine,
Which we all know.
which we all know is Jabba the Hutt. So I mean, they're already heading there. And in this point of the story, where is Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan.
He's in Tatooine.
Yes.
So they could easily do an Obi-Wan movie, or they can kind of do like a team up story. I don't know if they would actually do like Obi-Wan and Han, because they have no memory of each other when they first meet.
Yeah.
So they're not. I mean, they wouldn't do a team up movie.
Yeah, and even then, like, I don't think they would include Darth Maul in a Han Solo sequel because remember, like, in the very beginning, Han, he goes, there is no force or magical powers out there.
Right.
Like, because he had never seen any evidence of that before
Right.
until he sees stuff with, like, Obi-Wan and Luke and all that kind of shit, so. I don't know.
I know there's a part of me that just wants to see Maul and Vader have a
Yeah.
have like
their battle.
Yeah, that would be cool to watch.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But if they do a Solo sequel, I mean, there's a lot of story there, obviously, to build. And then it naturally, it would have to conclude with them right before the events of New Hope.
Yeah.
But
The only way they can make it really work if they put Darth Maul in a Solo sequel is that at the end of this movie, they do something where Obi-Wan does something to save Han without him knowing it. Like, somehow, like, makes Darth Maul lose in some kind of a battle or helps Han escape and he doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
And then that's when they can lead into Obi-Wan's movie with Darth Maul. So that's the only thing I can that's the only logical thing I can think of.
what did you feel about the lack thereof Boba Fett in Solo? I mean, the closest thing we got was the Mandalorian.
Mandalorians, yeah.
So
I'm fine with it. So I mean, I would think if they did a Solo movie, a Solo sequel, there would probably be more Boba Fett in a Solo sequel.
I think so too.
So I mean, they could. I mean, the movie technically by the numbers, I mean, Disney could look at it as a failure, but it's something that they can build on. They're gonna have to be like, hey, we have to kind of see like what people think of this movie, and it's not a bad movie, but they can still build this universe and still build a successful universe. Especially if they do introduce someone like Boba Fett into the
There's a lot of interesting ways they can go about. Like I said, although not much is known about him, Dengar can play a huge role.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the more diehard, because again, we've talked about this. You're appealing to two kinds of people in your audience: those that are diehard fans, and those that are like, I've never heard of this Star shit. I'm gonna go check it out because it's very popular. So you're kind of trying to make both, people happy.
Well, the problem is most people know the basic Star Wars.
Yeah,
story.
they know the main players.
They
They
know
know
the-
Darth Maul.
Yeah,
Spock.
They well, I'm saying they know the characters. They know Luke, Vader, Han Solo, Princess Leia. Sorry, I'm getting all gassy right now. Sorry. No, it's all in my stomach.
Do you need some equate? Some dairy enzymes?
No, because I didn't eat any dairy.
Okay.
So, but I think the problem with the prequels, why they're not hitting the mark with like the just the general movie audience, is because they really have no investment in the characters.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
These movies are made for the Star Wars fans, and the Star Wars fans are even shitting on them because they're not what they want them to be.
Well, this is only their second one. This is
Yeah.
only their second Star Wars story. Rogue One did fantastic.
Yeah.
Rogue One is still one of the highest grossing Star Wars films.
Yeah, it's up there.
I mean, for something that no one's familiar with.
I think another reason it's not doing well is it honestly didn't get promoted that much.
No, the promotion sucked, and then also Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, you're sandwiched between Infinity War and Deadpool 2.
Yeah, it was pretty poor timing on their part. They're just
Yeah.
like
they should have saved it.
That was
to-
Disney's fault. They should have saved it till summertime.
Yeah.
Because I
Or-
mean,
yeah.
if we're going with the Disney schedule, I mean, A Wrinkle in Time came out, and then Avengers,
yes.
then Solo. Deadpool 2 is technically a Fox movie.
Yeah.
But then Ant-Man and Wasp comes out in June. They should have saved
Yeah.
it for July or August. So, because honestly, there's nothing. The only summer blockbuster movie that's coming out is Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So they could have easily done it around that time.
I was watching some videos and theories too, and a lot of people were saying that a lot of like the hardcore fans they have a lot of beef with the way Kathleen Kennedy is running the things, and that was their way of like
Yeah.
kind of like giving it to
Social
her. You know?
justice characters. And,
So, yeah.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. It's a
Mm.
fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's like you realize Star Wars has dealt in politics longer than all this shit's been going on. So, just because you weren't alive back then to really understand what was going on in that during that time period, it
Well,
doesn't mean that it wasn't there.
What makes me laugh is when they need to give it back to George Lucas. And
No,
I'm
the
like,
they
best,
don't.
the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars is it being removed from George Lucas.
Exactly.
yeah, I'm like, did you not watch the prequels? I mean,
Yeah.
nobody looks at the prequels favorably. Even like,
You get to see him as a little kid.
Very sad.
at first,
We would if it was Lucas doing it, we would have seen Han Solo as a little kid.
He's very
you know,
sad.
when
He's very abandoned. He's got no family. He's really sad.
episode 1 was positively received at the time of its release, but then over time, people are just like, no, this movie's boring as hell.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then same with
About Senate
and then-
redistricting is what it's about.
And then episode 2 is
Hot garbage.
yeah, though.
Yeah,
And then episode 3.
I
is-
like 3.
Yeah,
I do like 3.
three.
I don't like the beginning of 3, like in the because I think just the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, like some of the dialogue that's written is some of the shittiest dialogue that's ever been
Oh no!
thought of, but
the dialogue,
but it gets
in-
better as it goes
the
on.
dialogue in episode 2 and episode 3
Yeah.
is garbage. I mean, it's high school play bad.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys have seen Hamlet 2, right?
yeah. It's
That Hamlet 2 is or episodes 2 and 3 are like Lucas's Hamlet 2.
Yeah.
It's like the dialogue is just garbage.
my favorite is Ray Shields. We're smarter than this.
Yeah.
That's like fuck, man.
sand. It's coarse and
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
He wrote the shit in like 5 minutes. He must have. Good God.
But even like during the good parts of episode
Yeah.
3, the dialogue sucks.
Yeah.
Like even during Obi-Wan and Anakin's battle, like just like the moments when they stop and
Oh,
they
yeah.
start talking to each other.
It's
It's
like,
like,
no-
just shut up and fight.
Yeah. Just start fighting again, please, please.
So
Just fuck him in
just
the shower.
fuck him in the shower and get it over with.
Oh my
But,
lord. I know.
Yeah, but no, like Chris, like I agree with Chris. Like removing George Lucas from Star Wars is the best thing
Mm.
that happened.
I mean, we
We-
thank you from the bottom of our hearts for creating these characters
Yeah,
and influencing these people to take your ideas and really go as far as the universe allows to, because the fan literature is some of the best
Mhm.
works of art I've ever read in my life. The stories, the theories.
Mhm.
I mean, it goes places that you would never imagine it to go. And
Right.
there's so many wonderful stories out there. I mean, Star Wars can go on forever.
right.
Mhm.
But the problem is, somebody had posted this picture on Instagram the other day, and it was a cartoon of Mickey Mouse going to milk a cow. It's just skinny and just tired.
That's
and
in the
can't,
shape of the Millennium Falcon.
that can't give any more, and it has one of those like it says Star Wars on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's true, yeah. Now you're milking it, and don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars. I mean, a Star
Yeah.
Wars movie every year, in my personal opinion, I can dig it, but it still has to be a solid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solo was good. That's any movie franchise. Some movies are going to be better than others.
Mhm.
You're not going to hit a home run.
Yeah,
Even some of the best, like Godfather was great. Godfather 2 was even better. Godfather 3, holy fuck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
So Mike told me the other day that Solo was the most expensive of all the movies.
It is, yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. But in a way, I guess I can kind of believe it because they're getting this money, they're building these budgets, they're going all out. And you know what? If it breaks even or maybe it makes just a little bit over, it doesn't hit the projected marks, doesn't mean it's a failure.
No.
You know? I mean, yeah, Deadpool 2, it's hard to compete with that. That movie's fucking great.
Wow.
You know?
Well, Deadpool 2 has a whole marketing campaign
Yeah.
behind it too. I mean, you
That
go to
was-
7-Eleven,
yeah.
they got Deadpool shit everywhere.
That was a great A thing, and then the whole Walmart thing where they replaced all of the
Deadpool's hawking fucking frozen dinners.
yeah.
So
He's fucking hustling it like a motherfucker.
You know?
Yeah.
And Star Wars, you know, maybe they were kind of banking on the fact that, like, hey, it's Star Wars, people will go see it.
It'll
And
sell
that's
it.
true to
It'll
a degree.
yeah. They were like thinking, well, it sells itself, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a license to print money.
it was a bad idea to release it when they did
Mhm.
because people were still very bitter about Last Jedi. And
Yeah, and it
And-
wasn't that far apart. you
yeah,
know?
and it was not very far apart at all. And the thing is, it's Last Jedi was very negatively received.
Yeah.
Not because it was a bad movie. It wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah, just-
It was actually a ballsy movie.
Mhm.
I mean, we've talked about it before. The only part of that movie I don't like is the stupid horse racing side
Yeah.
story that they did with Rose and Finn.
Yeah.
You could have cut that out of the movie, made it a better movie.
Yeah.
And then of course, the Sherry Bobbins. Hey, babe, you have Tums?
Or the whole laser sword.
Yeah.
Who hasn't want to bug me? But
Yeah, Mike says that line every time. It just makes me chuckle.
I like that line though. Because there was actually a knockoff of a lightsaber called laser swords
Yeah, that's right.
back in the 70s.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
I think I've seen him at like the swamp meets. You know.
yeah.
Just a throwback to what we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about earlier, Star Wars Theory, the channel on YouTube. One of the episodes is what happens to Luke's lightsaber in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because we only see it once in that whole movie, which is the flashback to when he, was going to kill Kylo, but then doesn't. It's the only time we see it.
Yeah.
What happens to it? Does he get rid of it? Does he keep it? One theory, I don't know if you, I think you have the actual pop vinyl, the old Luke.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, and I don't know, Mike, if you want to grab it, but he's got something around his neck. I mean, it's going to become a 3D show now, Mike. So you mind if he grabs it?
Yeah. Oh, there goes its value.
Yeah. Do you see him? Does he got like a necklace on? Yeah. Okay. The theory is that necklace, that's the crystal,
The Kyber crystal.
the Kyber crystal.
Kyber.
MacGyver.
MacGyver?
Sorry. So I just didn't get to see it, but yeah, and again, a great channel. I'm plugging it as much as I
Make sure
can.
you put it exactly where
Yeah.
the death string is.
Exactly. And he also, on a side note, which you could talk about later, he used Sith technology or techniques to actually make his lightsaber. But that being said, there's so much going on in that movie that's not addressed.
Yeah.
That us nerds, if they had focused on that, I think Last Jedi would have been a little different. But you're right, people are coming off of the disappointment that was The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and like I said, the disappointment, it wasn't because it was a bad movie. It was a fantastic movie. Just, sweaty fanboys that want to just complain about movies were pissed off because it didn't match up exactly with what they wanted, and it didn't match up with their fucking fan theories.
They're mad that their predictions are wrong.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm glad that every single prediction that we made on this show or Beyond Kayfabe, whenever we did our prediction show, was wrong.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Could you imagine if you'd have been right?
Yeah, because the fact is, our theories are what would be predictable. They went
Yeah.
the complete opposite way of what people were thinking.
Which
And the thing is,
great.
they told you exactly what was going to happen in the trailers, and nobody paid attention to it.
Yeah.
The whole theme of that movie is let the past die.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, Kylo Ren said it every single fucking trailer that they showed.
Yeah.
So
I'm still a little disappointed that the opening scroll, the first line was Luke Skywalker has been found. That was my real big letdown because I thought that'd have been great. But no, I mean, when you can accurately predict movies, then they're doing something wrong.
yeah,
You can have an idea, you can have some theories.
yeah.
Deadpool 2, for example. Did you know who the villain was before it was revealed?
I honestly didn't.
I had an idea during the prison scene.
Yeah.
That large thump
Yeah.
that we heard,
Mhm.
I knew exactly who it was because it could only
Yeah.
be one person, and I was
Right.
pleasantly surprised
Right.
that I was correct. But even then, I would have if I told you before the movie came out, like, hey, guess who the villain's going to be? It's going to be spoiler. It's going to be fucking Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut, bitch.
You'd be like, you're fucking crazy,
Yeah.
you know? And the trailers were shown and told you one part of the story.
Yeah.
When trailers do that, fucking fantastic. When movies do that, trailers fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you go in there and you're surprised, and you're delightfully surprised.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole time we thought, oh, this is going to be a Cable Deadpool showdown. That's just tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
But with Star Wars and, you know, fucking Avengers, and I still see that fucking scene in the trailers with the Hulk running. That doesn't fucking happen in the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get scenes that were filmed and cut. Great example, Iron Man 2 when he jumps out of the plane. The dialogue got cut from the movie, but you see it in the commercials.
Yeah.
I get that. But this whole Hulk thing, you only had one fucking job. You know? But
Yeah. But
Well, I mean, like the whole predicting moves. I think that's what's interesting about the Star Wars prequels because we all know where it leads to,
right.
or at least to the beginning of the story. We all know where it leads to, and that's what I liked about Solo is that it's about the journey,
Yeah.
you know, and they made the journey exciting.
Yeah.
Like all the action scenes were fantastic. You know, they were exciting. You know, they were fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, and you know, even the dialogue was pretty good.
I thought the dialogue
So-
was fine. The story was fine. The movie was fine. There,
Yeah.
like,
It's not gonna break any records as far as how good it is.
No.
It's not Empire, but
right.
again, it didn't. You know, it had a nice twist at the end that I don't think really any of us saw coming
Yeah.
with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
But it was about the journey, and the journey was exciting.
Yeah.
So
Han was slowly becoming the Han Solo character.
yeah,
He was Han the whole time, and then he starts becoming Han Solo.
And then it became Han.
Hand.
So
Yeah,
Pan-
they had to do that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had to do that. That's the best. And here's the thing, too. The dice that Han has, you know, explaining it as a good luck charm is horseshit.
well, I
That's
think,
the
yeah.
dice that he used to win the
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon. That's the extended universe story, I guess. They decided not to do that.
Well, what I like about it is because because the dice they're up on the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope, and you see them clearly, but you don't see them in the you know
You don't see them in Empire. You don't see them
Yeah.
in Jedi. Also, too, originally they had the little pivots like dice have.
yeah
It got changed to that weird alien font that you
Yeah.
see in Last Jedi.
yeah.
So
So it's kind of interesting how that's becoming like a big, like I can't think of the term, but
running gag.
not a running gag, but symbolism stuff like
I gotta
that.
go take a piss.
Go take a
Fuck
piss.
myself
Yeah.
in the shower.
Okay, you go do that.
Have a good time.
You know, so that's because here's the thing. Han saving Chewbacca, that's part of the story. It was a little
Chewbacca.
different
Yeah.
in the actual story. It was a guard beating Chewbacca, but they kind of did this twist to create that kind of scene to build suspense and everything.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big reveal that, you know, Han apparently, you know, speaks Wookiee or Kashyyyk or whatever the fucking name of the language is. I don't know. Hey, I'm a nerd, but I'm not that big of a
Well,
nerd.
when he said that, it kind of reminded me of that part in
Avengers.
in Avengers where it's like a group.
It was all for
Yeah.
this introduction.
Yeah. On Asgard. Yeah.
I think it's funny. He's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of know Wookiee," and then he's like, he understands in the entire
Yeah.
movie. It's like, come on.
Because I mean, that's something that you've had to have wondered at some point. Like,
Yeah,
how
like,
the
how-
hell
You really understand.
does he understand
Yeah.
them? You know?
What's kind of interesting how like they'll use some languages and they'll actually put
Subtitle?
subtitles at the bottom, but for Chewbacca they never do.
Yeah, they never done that. Yeah.
So you have to get the cues from the other character that's talking to him,
Right.
to really understand what Chewie's stressing about or what he's talking about.
I've seen footage from when they were filming like A New Hope,
yeah.
and you know Peter Mayhew actually said lines, and he just says them because it fills the space.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it's funny to like where'd you dig up that old fossil? And like the line is something like that. What a crazy old coot, that's what he says. And Han's like, "You said it. Where'd you dig up that old fossil?" It had nothing to do with the line, but it's just it creates the space.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen those old spaghetti westerns, Good, Bad, the Ugly?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you knew this, but the way they filmed those movies is that they had many actors. Some spoke Italian, some spoke Spanish, some spoke French, and then you have Clint Eastwood who spoke English. They all spoke in their native language, and they kind of watched each other's mouths to know when to speak. And then when they did the dub, they dubbed everything in English, and they dubbed over the Clint Eastwood English. Clint Eastwood had to dub over his own voice so that the audio would sync up. That's why it didn't sound so weird.
Yeah.
But so basically, like the guy would say the line in Italian to Clint Eastwood, and he would respond in English. And that's how they would kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
So, the fact that they do that in Star Wars where Chewbacca says something, you kind of have to, you play it off of, Han. He's like, you said it. And then he literally repeats kind of what he said, or I agree. Or it's like, well, what the fuck did he say?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a interesting trope because they carry it on with with Groot.
Yeah.
They pretty much do the same thing with him where the other actors will kind of repeat what he just said for the viewing audience, even though they know the audience isn't there.
Yeah. But it's like,
So-
with that, it's like the tones and how he says, I am Groot.
Yeah.
I am Groot. I am Groot. Like he just adds these different things to kind of at least give you direction.
Yeah. It's just like, it's kind of like the parallels between Guardians and Star Wars is kind of interesting.
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. So.
Well, boys, we're about an hour and 6 minutes to be exact. Did you want to talk a little bit about Deadpool? We kind of mentioned it here and there.
Sure. Why not? What do you have to say? I liked it. What do you have to say?
It was a great movie.
I thought it took a lot of chances in the best way.
Yeah.
It kind of, it repeated some of the things that we loved about the first one, but it didn't rely on it.
No, it kind of the way they did it is kind of how the way Super Troopers 2 approached theirs.
I didn't see Super Troopers 2.
Oh, okay. Well, they
Bad form, Peter. Bad form.
they do rely a little bit on like the old gags,
Yeah.
but at the same time they try to make it its own movie.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
it takes chances, especially with that beginning. The first maybe, 10, 15 minutes of it, you want to say, really kind of went in a direction you didn't think was going to go. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. Oh, man, they really went crazy with a lot of the kind of breaking the fourth wall jokes and everything.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
They didn't like do it as they did it a little bit differently though, as opposed to like in the first movie, whenever they broke the fourth wall, like Deadpool would just talk to us.
He would Zach Morris it.
Yeah, as opposed to this one, he seemed to just like say stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, he's talking to us as within the scene.
Almost unintentionally
Yeah.
breaking the fourth wall.
What's some of your favorite moments of the movie?
I like
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
No, seriously, Matt Damon was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I don't
You guys
remember.
remember when Cable first shows up?
Yeah.
The two redneck truckers, the
That's
guy that
right,
was
that's
talking
right.
about the baby wipes.
Mm.
That's Matt Damon.
Is
Was
it?
Matt
Did
Damon?
not catch
I
that.
didn't catch that
Yeah,
part.
it was Matt Damon.
Oh,
The
did not
king
catch-
of cameos. Matt Damon.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Brad
Va-
Pitt was fucking
The Vanisher was my
yeah,
favorite.
that was
part of
fucking
movie.
awesome. Just like, oh shit, it's fucking Brad Pitt. Yeah.
I did. My favorite part of there's two parts I really like, but I would say the funniest part happened in the credits,
Yes.
which was one of my main problems with the movie is that was the funniest part and they put it in the credits.
Mm.
But my favorite part was when they all jump out of the plane and the entire team
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah.
That had me. I was like rolling. Like
You did
laughing.
not expect the
Yeah.
X-Force to go down like that.
Yeah. Because like in the trailer,
They were
like they
building it up.
actually gave them a lot of like you actually saw a lot of action with the entire team,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like they did nothing. They jumped out of the
Trick
plane. and they all
photography,
di-
my friend.
They jumped out of the plane and they all died.
He's talking to Domino, and she's like, "Who's left? Well, just the main core, just me and you. That's it." Yeah.
God, who knew it would be so windy?
Right.
I did.
I did. He's like,
I did
Whoever
like.
thought a high wind advisory would play such a
Big
integral
role.
part in a movie?
Yeah.
Boy, I bet the guys that work at the wind department were really fucking high-fiving
yeah.
each other that day. I love the scene at the mansion after all the jokes. You know, Jesus, it's just you two? Like, you'd think they throw us a bone.
Yeah.
And then
that part was
you
good.
saw, you know, fucking McAvoy and all the boys.
It was like a split second
Yeah.
too, which was the best part.
Yeah.
It was like if you blinked, you literally missed it.
Oh, yeah.
So you missed
So.
would have been Quicksilver, Beast, Storm, Professor X, and I want to say Cyclops.
I don't remember.
There's a
for
list
reference.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
people have watched it over and over again. They wrote out, it was that time, you know. I thought that was fucking great.
Yeah.
I love the homage to Say Anything with the little
Yes.
speaker and the Peter Gabriel and
Yeah.
that just weird, just sexual tension between Colossus and Deadpool.
Yeah. He's all like,
I do like I like the shirt that Wade wore when Colossus brought him back to the school.
oh yeah.
It was actually a nod to Taylor Swift's Cats.
Oh, was it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
so
That's cool.
I thought that was kind of
He's
funny.
an, I'm an X-Men now, trainee.
Yeah,
Trainee, all right, trainee.
it was funny how they played off of Brianna Hildebrand actually being a lesbian
Yeah.
and making her a lesbian in the movie. So
And her girlfriend was it
Yukio.
Yuki?
Hi Yukio.
Hi, Yuki.
Hi,
How you
Wade.
doing?
That was a funny gag.
That was- yeah, that
how
was
they
my
just
favorite
like
gag in the
continued
movie.
it throughout
Mhm.
the movie.
Yeah, but I gotta say, man, Josh Brolin, dude,
What a fucking beast!
Oh,
in
he's
that
fucking
movie.
awesome, man.
What a
Dude.
fucking 2 weeks.
fucking,
Holy
Yeah, he's
shit.
fucking hot.
and he's got 2 more movies coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Sicario 2 coming
Sicario?
out at the end of June, and then he's got another movie coming out in July. This is the summer of Brolin,
Yeah,
man.
dude, he's fucking
Dude.
on it, dude.
Yeah, man. He's
I mean,
he's on a
he'll-
brawl, my friend.
He'll probably be the
Yeah.
highest grossing actor of the year, probably.
Probably, I mean, easily.
Probably, because hasn't Avengers already made like $2 billion or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Deadpool is probably going to pull in $1 billion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
What'd you think of the Cable character now that we finally see it on the screen?
Love it.
love it.
Loved it. It was fucking great.
It wouldn't have worked in any of the X-Men
Mhm.
movie. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I do like how they make fun of him that he's not very tall,
Yeah.
but because Cable's a pretty massive guy in the
Mhm.
comics. But I like how they made light of that. One of my favorite parts though was Deadpool's death scene. The music that was playing in the background is the music that was playing while Logan was dying at the end of Logan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was the same
I
exact
didn't,
music.
I
yeah.
didn't think about
Catch
that.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
I was the only one who was laughing when the music
Nice.
started playing. Like, oh my god!
He's like, well, guess what, motherfuckers? I'm dying in this movie
Well, they
too.
took that one shot of him like holding like the hand and everything. That
Yeah.
was funny. I was like, how they just like start. It's like, oh, let's just parody Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You know,
basically
that
what
was
they
the
did.
best part. So
I think even the very beginning credits with Logan being stuck. You know, that
Yeah.
shit was like, oh.
His little play toy. Yeah.
Liz is a big fan of Hugh Jackman and Wolverine and Logan. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned to you guys off the show, if we have a boy, we're going to name the boy Logan.
Yeah.
That's how much the love goes. She just was not digging that. She loves Deadpool. It was kind of be torn between two loves. Like, ooh, I don't really care for that, but it's funny.
I love it, and I love
You know?
Wolverine. I mean, I've got my Logan keychain.
It's just-
Wolverine's one of my favorite characters.
It's
I
the
fucking loved
Deadpool
it.
character.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
I would love to see if they do a Deadpool 3, if Jackman just one more time,
Yeah, please.
one more
Just
time come
yeah.
back. Because I mean, I think the next movie, if there is one, is Cable's gonna chase down Wade because of his little time travel
Yes.
thingy majigger.
That he fixed. Yeah.
That they'll eventually run into Logan or
Mhm.
whatever. I think that'd be fucking fantastic.
Oh man.
So and that will be it. That
Mm.
that will be the conclusion of the Deadpool story.
Yeah.
So
That's all you really need.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
because
It's
that's what you're
slowly-
waiting for.
It's slowly building.
Yeah.
And in the post-credit scenes there, they
Yeah.
took a lot. He took a lot of liberties. And
Yeah.
I think Warner Brothers is actually very pissed off at Ryan Reynolds, but he don't give a fuck.
He
He doesn't care. He's all.
Yeah.
He's fucking Deadpool now. He's like, he doesn't need the Green Lantern shit,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, what Marvel's been doing is they've been reviving these guys who've had shitty
Careers. Yeah. Oh,
superhero movies
yeah.
with DC and WB and really like blowing them up. Like Brolin was Jonah Hex,
Yeah.
and Jonah Hex was
That
he,
was shit.
he wasn't a bad Jonah Hex.
No, it was just a
it
badly,
was a
poorly
terrible
written movie. Yeah.
And I mean, it's very rare that DC does the opposite. The only one that they've really done it with was Affleck as Batman, but even those movies weren't very good.
Yeah.
yeah.
not terrible, but
Not very good. Yeah.
but
Definitely better than Daredevil. That's for sure.
oh yeah. Well, those early Marvel movies
Weren't that
were
great.
awful.
bad. I mean, Punisher was okay. John Travolta sucked in those movies. He's what really killed it.
Hmm.
Daredevil, the director's cut of Daredevil is actually really good.
Yeah.
But both Fantastic Four movies were terrible.
Yeah.
Elektra, ugh.
That was fucking. Ugh.
Ooh,
Awful.
that was-
That was
Hot
bad.
mess.
yeah. But yeah, Deadpool. I mean, this is a franchise. It's given the. I mean, people talk about superhero fatigue.
Mhm.
I mean, it's given the superhero genre a good kick in the ass and a good reboot.
Fresh breath.
It's a
yeah.
fresh look, yeah. And I mean, I don't expect these studios to come out and make every single superhero franchise like Deadpool because they just can't do it.
Yeah.
Deadpool's an entity in itself.
It's a unique character.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Well, I mean, it took.
I mean, DC could probably do it with Lobo, but that ain't gonna
Mm.
happen.
You know what? If they're smart, they won't, because it'll just come off as
That's cheesy.
a cheap imitation, a knockoff.
right.
Like, because the character. I mean, it would be true to the character,
Yeah.
but it just they missed the boat on that one. If they did Lobo how Deadpool was done years ago,
Mm.
it would have fucking killed any Deadpool momentum.
Yeah.
Mm.
They rolled the dice, they took the risk, and it paid off. And the success of Deadpool, is opening up to more, R-rated, comic book movies that can actually be successful.
Yeah.
Because there have been a lot of R-rated comic book movies that just didn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah.
And they were true to the characters. Punisher
Mhm.
is a good example.
Blade.
Blade.
Well, the
is
first Blade,
another-
anyway, yeah.
So there's a lot of
What would be
potential.
interesting is if they actually made a rated R Mask film, and
Like
actually-
how it's supposed
Oh,
to be
yeah.
in the
how it was
comics.
supposed to be.
Mm.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the Mask.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite.
The comics are brutal though,
Yeah.
man.
But if they went with that real violent,
Mhm.
just kind of it's kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
and it went that direction because they could probably do it now.
Yeah.
But that
Well,
would be interesting.
It would be very interesting to see something like that. I mean, they did it with Dredd.
Dread.
mean,
Yeah.
Dread was fantastic.
Dredd is still one of the most underrated comic book movies.
Carl
Another,
Urban as Dredd was just
Yeah.
fan-fucking-tastic.
and it's a shame that we haven't gotten a sequel yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie came out in 2010, 2012,
Something like that.
and it's 8 years later, and
Nothing still.
nothing. So
So probably never gonna get it.
it won't. But
I thought they were talking about a possible series. I
they
think-
were talking about a Netflix series or an Amazon series or something,
Something
like
around
that.
there.
But
Who knows
Hey,
that happens?
I wouldn't
you
mind,
have to have that same team do it, though.
I wouldn't mind if they ended up going the animated route as long as it's Carl Urban doing the voice and they bring back those players.
I don't want to see an animated route.
I that's the only way I would take it is if they have the same players but just doing the voices. It's better than nothing. But Dredd was just so because Judge Dredd is a horrible, flaming piece of shit.
Oh god, I am the law.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, back then, how many good comic book movies were there besides? Well, you got Ninja Turtles, the first one I'm talking
Yeah.
about. The Mask, Crow.
yeah. that's
Crow
true.
was pretty true. They cut out some big elements, but still it was really good.
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Yeah.
Batman, sir.
What else was a comic that people don't know?
That was really it.
As far as
Good movies. I
as,
mean,
superhero movies, that those really are the only ones that stand out as good back then.
yeah.
And Blade was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I've
How
never
far back
seen
are you
Blade.
going?
I'm just talking maybe late '80s, early '90s.
Okay.
Because I can't think of anything before that.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl was
Tank Girl is underrated.
Yeah.
I like Tank Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, Deadpool, loved it. I do want to see it one more time. So I've never been a reader of Deadpool comics. I'll read one here and there, but Reynolds was just born to play that role. Like I said, I love Josh Brolin. Brolin, he's on fire. He plays an amazing Cable.
yeah.
I do like how they call him Thanos in the movie. That's the one
They
thing I
also
wanted.
did the One Eye Willie reference from the Goonies.
Yeah, One Eye Willie. God, what else? I love the soundtrack.
Yeah,
The
the
soundtrack is fucking fantastic.
I think even
Turn Back Time by Cher was
Yes.
stuck in my head for a week after I saw that movie.
Mm-hmm.
it's just so perfect.
Yeah.
I think even the score is I think I read an article saying that the Deadpool score is the only score in the history of scores to give a parental advisory.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
which
because
is
that.
very interesting.
Well, because that part where they're fighting. Yeah, I was like, oh shit balls. Yeah. That's
Well,
fucking great.
it's that Juggernaut song.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of the Juggernaut, you guys know who did that, right?
No, because it says himself in the credits. I haven't even looked it up yet.
This is gonna be might be a bombshell for you.
Matt Damon.
No,
Oh.
not Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. It's a CGI character, but the
Right.
facial imaging and the voice, Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
Yes,
No shit.
this was confirmed online. I did not know it was him. Anyone that tells you that's him watching it is fucking full of shit.
what?
There's no
playing
way.
Juggernaut.
He was Juggernaut.
Really?
Maybe that's why he kept saying that he was his favorite character.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So-
I did like the poignant drops of the fourth wall where he mentions the actual comics.
Yeah.
That was great.
He's like,
But,
oh, as he's coming with this murderous look to murder.
And I mean, we haven't said one word about Domino. I mean,
Oh, Domino's
the
fucking
girl's
great.
name, I think her name is Yazzie Beats or something
Yeah.
like that.
She's fucking phenomenal. Dude.
She
I thought
did a
she was
great fucking
dude.
job,
Oh, yeah.
man.
You know, making the race switch because I think Domino is white in the
Yeah.
comics was.
Mhm.
I think it was a good
But
move.
the whole thing with the fro just it fucking worked for me.
Right.
You know,
I
it
bet
fucking.
it did. Oh, I bet it did.
Oh
buddy.
yeah.
How's that fever, man?
Super hot. But yeah,
But,
it was. But it was good. You know,
Yes,
it was just
sir.
really good casting. You know.
Wow.
So.
For me, it was back-to-back weeks of excellent films:
Mm.
Deadpool 2, Solo, TBD.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I got Sicario 2 comes out June 29th.
Yeah, dude, that looks killer, dude.
So I'll be seeing that
No
by myself.
pun intended on that one.
So that's gonna be fantastic.
Did we
Yeah.
talk about the end credit scene in Deadpool 2?
No, someone brought it up. You brought it up and
But
then
then-
kind of backtracked on it.
But again, that was probably the funniest scene in the movie.
Yeah.
in my opinion. And I just love the fact the Wolverine origins part.
Yeah.
That had everybody laughing at my theater.
Not only did he shoot him, but he was like an overkill, just like do 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 do, do, and then a few more. It's all right, bye.
Just changing the story.
Yeah, it's
here.
like this,
Everything's
bye.
good.
I was the only one laughing the second that they showed his feet because I knew what was coming.
Oh yeah.
And everybody else was kind of quiet. I don't know if it's just the theater that I'm going
Yeah.
to or what, but with the Darth Maul reveal, the only one who was
Oh,
really excited
yeah.
was me.
Yeah,
And
so
then-
same with me in my theater, but my theater was really small for Solo.
I think me and Mike both let out a simultaneous "Oh shit!"
Yeah. But then, with the end credit scene with, him killing Deadpool,
Yeah.
cleaning up the timeline. Yeah, didn't
Yeah,
really
hell,
get
even
much.
him shooting himself.
Yeah, that was fucking fantastic too.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
the
you're
big
wel-
time Reynolds.
Yeah, he's like, you're
Welcome
welcome,
to the big time,
Canada.
kid.
Yeah, that was probably one of the funniest scenes I think I've seen in just film
Yeah.
in a while. So
If they do make a Deadpool 3, which I fully expect them to do, they've already said T.J. Miller will not be involved. How
Yeah.
much of a dynamic do you think that's going to change? Do you think they're going to put
Mhm.
Darpinder in that role, or
That would be cool.
do you think they'll find some other sarcastic, kind of dry humor, smart ass type guy, or just completely forget about that part of
if I was writing it just because it would be an awesome way to poke fun at it,
Mhm.
I would recast him.
Yeah.
Dress him up the same way and just kind of poke fun at it the entire movie.
Just like talk
yeah.
shit about it. Yeah.
So
And have them make sexual advances on every female character in the movie.
yeah, just be just be. That's Deadpool. You
Yeah.
know, it's satire. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be edgy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that
Oh.
way. So I say just poke fun at it.
I
So.
think one thing they should do is, since they keep getting these big celebrity cameos like Brad Pitt,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon, try to find like 4 or 5 different big time celebrities, and every time you have a scene with them, have it be a different one of them.
that
Yeah.
would be
And
fun.
have one of them be black.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
great,
Have one
yeah.
of them be black. Have one of them be a female. Just do something like that. I think that'd be like have like Meryl Streep
Yeah.
Yeah,
show up dressed as T.J. Miller. So
that would be funny.
yeah,
Actually, I think that would work really well.
it will, dude. It'd
Yeah,
be great.
I'd be down
Let's
for that.
email Fox right now or Disney or whoever.
We're
the
gonna,
hell's
we're gonna write
taking it.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
We'll get Donald Glover on this writing team since FX canceled his Deadpool animated series,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there.
You should call it Deadpool Tres Amigos.
Yeah.
Finally.
Deadpool and Friends.
Deadpool and Friends, yeah.
But yeah, Deadpool's great. Go see it. Solo was good. Go see it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, at least we still have Bowie. All right. So, do we want to do the list tonight?
Sure, might as well go through it.
Okay.
No, it's an hour and just about an hour and a half into the show.
Okay. I'm sure we can get through this one pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I honestly I saw the final list and I don't got much commentary on it myself. So
Unc said, "Have you show me the Facebook post he tagged you in?"
Let's see.
oh,
Is it not a
Well,
video of
is
you
it
fucking in the shower? Is it?
He got it all on tape.
Anybody? Well, I'm making it now. Come and get it. You want coffee? Who wants coffee? Anybody want coffee? I'm making the coffee. What do you want? You want coffee? Yeah, I got it all right here. Yeah, I even got the K-cups that you wanted. Look, I got the Dunkin' Donuts K-cups. I got the K-cup, the B-cup. It looks like you could use a D-cup. I even got the Tim Hortons because we went upstate and you said, I gotta have Tim Hortons. I got the Tim Hortons. Look at it. What else? I got every kind of
God damn.
freaking cup that you need. Every type of coffee, whatever you need. What do you want? You want creamers? I got Italian cream. I got almond joy. I got your sister's ass. French vanilla. Whatever you need, I got. Who wants coffee? You want coffee? I got coffee. No. I don't have the Keurig. I got the Gehrig. This is the Gehrig machine. It makes 2,130 consecutive cups of coffee. What do you want? What do you want? Espresso? I got espresso. What do you want? The pergola? The pergola? I got the pergola. What do you? Not a dish we stole. This you can't see. What do you want? Silverware? I got the father, the mother, and the son. I even got coffee to go. Who wants coffee? Anybody want coffee? Here's your coffee. Drink your coffee. I'll have decaf.
What the fuck? That was great.
That's pretty good.
Anybody want some? I want some coffee.
Want
now.
some coffee?
I've already had some coffee and it's giving me acid reflux, so I probably shouldn't drink any more coffee.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pass there.
Yeah. But yeah, we can do the list. We don't have to get into like
Specifics.
specifics, but I did want to make an executive decision on the because we have a tie for.
Well, before we do that, let's talk about the list. What do we do in the list on
We
this?
kind of alluded to it earlier in the show if you're paying
Yeah.
attention. If you're still with us.
That's right, Millennium Falcon.
We're doing our top 10 favorite video games.
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Video
So
games.
Scooty bop ba doot doot doot.
yeah, we'll get back to doing all the fat stuff next week.
Hey, video games is a part of the fat life, is fast food and television and
Fucking in the shower.
fucking in the shower. You fucking fornicate.
Talk about fat people can't fuck in the shower.
That's
It's just not possible.
don't call me fat. I am. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
you are. But right now we have a going into the list.
Let's
We
talk
actually-
about the elephant in the
now-
room here. Don't talk about Dave that way.
I want to say, I'm not surprised that by me and Bubba's list we had a lot in common, just because we grew up with a lot of the same games.
Yeah.
So I think the top 5 games are pretty much all of our
Yeah.
lists. But we have a 4-way tie for 9 and 10, and 9 points each. We got Crash Bandicoot, Halo 3, NBA Jam, and Red Dead Redemption. So
Okay.
I wanted to make an executive decision. You can support me on it if you want to. Since 2 of the games are shared on lists, those should take 9 and 10. And those games were Crash Bandicoot, and because Mike and Crispy had them on their list,
Yeah.
and then NBA Jam, which was on Crispy and Bubba's list.
Okay.
Agreed.
And because I really doubt, I haven't really played Halo. I know Bubba hasn't really
I
played.
played Halo 3,
Yeah.
but I mean,
I got wind of it.
Yeah.
I never
Uh,
really played Crash Bandicoot, so. And then I played Red Dead Redemption.
But I was just throwing it out there since it was on 2 of the lists.
Yeah.
Since the 2 games were on multiple lists,
Who wants coffee?
that those should jump ahead of Halo 3 and NBA Jam.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Or not NBA Jam, but Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, that's fine with me.
So,
I'm good with that.
so how do you want to rank them? Either at 9 and 10, Crash Bandicoot or NBA Jam?
Well,
Tough call.
For me, I would have to put NBA Jam at number 9,
Okay.
and because I've never played, I've been around, I've seen people play Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously it's a fun game. It's beloved.
Yeah.
But for me, like NBA Jam to this day is still being played.
It's
That's
Yeah.
that's very true.
The replayability of NBA Jam is just off the charts. I mean, people are still making mods with current rosters and everything
Yeah.
like that. NBA Jam is a game that people who are non-sports fans, who can give a shit about sports or basketball or anything like that in general, that can actually play it and love it and enjoy it. It's very simple, straightforward game. It's fun. The replayability of it is awesome, given it is a basketball game. But, I mean, you can get a group of like 25, 30 people in one room and say, we're having an NBA Jam tournament. Everybody's going to be involved.
Very true.
I agree with Bubs. NBA Jam being 9. My primary reason is because while I play a lot of Crash Bandicoot, to this day I'm still playing NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
very
it's
true.
an arcade game. If you're lucky to find it some places, my buddy Jeff still has a working Super Nintendo. We get down with the Jam. So for that reason alone, my vote would be for NBA Jam to be number 9, Crash Bandicoot to be number 10.
Okay.
I'm good with that. That's fun. That's good.
I would have to agree. I've played through the first 2 Crash games. Like originally, like if you play them now, they haven't aged well.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they just did the HD
HD.
re-release,
Yeah, of the first
which got really good ratings.
Mhm.
But again, they said the timing was just off because
Yeah.
the mechanics
Mm.
in the game. I would have to agree. NBA Jam, it's classic. You can't really.
Fuck
There's
with that.
there's really no other sports game that I know that everybody plays.
Yeah.
I would
that
say
has
the only
played or-
equivalent would maybe be Blitz.
Yeah.
You can jump into Blitz not knowing anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to say before we move on, did you have a go-to team in
Well,
Jam?
Boston Celtics, of course.
You went with Boston.
Every basketball game I play.
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel uncomfortable if I pick another basketball team in a basketball game.
Because I'm just
No
thinking,
matter
and-
how shitty the Celtics are, I'm always going to pick them. And don't get me wrong, NBA Jam had,
that was a lineup. That was an era of basketball.
right. That wasn't but a lot of the teams didn't have the All-Stars. Like Michael Jordan's not in NBA Jam.
Well, yeah.
I
But
mean, it's Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong.
But I think the collective was they purposely didn't put Jordan. Well, he didn't. I didn't.
he didn't
sign.
he
yeah,
didn't allow.
he didn't.
That's true. But
Up that point, Jordan wasn't allowing any Jordan, the first basketball game that Jordan actually allowed his license to was 2K.
Was it 2K? I thought it was NBA Live in like 2002 or something like that.
Was it 2002
Or 1999 or something
Yeah.
like that. It was when he was on the
Wizards?
Wizards.
That's right. But
so,
he hardly ever sells off his naming rights.
yeah.
I mean, in NBA Live, like those late the Super Nintendo from like 94 to 98 or whatever, you can create Michael Jordan. If you typed in Michael Jordan in the create a player, his stats will come up.
yeah.
Same with like Larry Bird and all those guys. But, there's a lot of guys in NBA Jam who didn't allow their rights. Like, I think the only team I would ever play with besides the Celtics was Charlotte.
Yeah.
Just because
Yep.
Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues.
That was my go-to team.
Indiana.
So
Reggie
Indiana
Miller.
Pacers was. But my go-to team was the Utah Jazz.
Oh, yeah. Malone Stockton.
Malone Stockton, man, what a fucking lineup.
Yeah.
So Utah Jazz and Indiana Pacers. I was all about 3-point city, dude.
Yeah.
Or 3-point land, as they used to say back in the old Foot Locker commercials. That was it, man.
Can't
You-
buy a bucket.
But even NBA Jam for me, like we had the tournament edition on Sega. We had the regular edition too.
Yeah.
I still have it, but I also have the reboot for PS3 because Acclaim, who made it, I think EA Sports owns it now, the
Yeah.
rights. And they re-released NBA Jam with a more current roster. I think like
Yeah.
the 2008, 2010 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's still fun. It's still as fun as it was when it was on the Sega Super Nintendo, early 16, 32-bit consoles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I love NBA Jam.
So we're all in agreement. Any other thoughts on Crash Bandicoot?
No,
that level where you have to outrun the rock was fucking
Yeah.
impossible.
Isn't that the first level?
No, it's like
Oh.
the third or fourth
One of the
level.
yeah, it was.
That
On the
Indiana
demo
Jones,
disc it
yeah.
was.
Yeah, I was.
You guys remember demo discs?
That's
for
right, I do,
PlayStation?
dude.
That's
Yeah.
how that's how I
Man.
played Crash the first
Yeah.
time. Was
Demo
on the
disc,
demo
yeah.
disc.
That was one that was repeated
Yeah.
a lot for sure.
Then you get your 50,000 minutes of AOL for free.
That's right.
Yeah. That's how I played Metal Gear too for the
Yeah.
first time was
Yeah.
on the demo discs.
That game 1, that was the first time I got to play that on the demo
Yeah.
disc.
Yep.
1 was actually a good game.
Yeah.
It's hard as fuck, but
So number 9 NBA Jam, number 10 Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Okay, so now there's no. Well, technically there's.
What's
a
one more time?
Yeah, there's three-way tie for 6th. We got now. Granted, I'll be glad to give up this spot, but it made it on the list because it was my number one. But Horizon Zero Dawn, Street Fighter 2, and Mario Brothers 3.
That's a tough one, man.
For me, obviously, Mario Brothers 3 is going 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Street Fighter 2 will go 7. And because I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, I know nothing about Horizon Zero Dawn except for what you've talked about. You know, I would have to put it in that 8th spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least that's what I would.
It's between Mario Brothers 3 and Street Fighter 2, both iconic games, both just my childhood. Essentially, is what that is. I mean, they're both high on my list. I'm gonna agree. I mean, like I said, I love Street Fighter as much as I love Mario Brothers 3, but Mario Brothers 3 is just my all-time favorite game. So
that's the one I played more anyway. So
I'm gonna put it up as high as I can possibly put it. So I agree with Bubs.
So Mario 3, Street Fighter 2, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what is Horizon Zero Dawn about? I've never really heard about it.
It's like a post-apocalyptic society.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what happened was they killed the Earth somehow, and they instituted this AI to take over, and it built a lot of these robot dinosaurs and robot animals.
So it's basically like Terminator and Transformers. Dinobots had a baby.
To an extent, it's like Turok plus Terminator.
Oh, okay.
So and what happened was the Earth was pretty much getting destroyed. It was killing itself, sucking up all the resources.
Yeah.
So humanity went underground and pretty much went extinct.
Oh, okay.
So, but before they did that, they froze a bunch of clones and DNA and stuff. So they were allowed to clone kids. And what was happening? This machine was once the Earth became sustainable due to these machines, harvesting, really bringing the Earth back to, making it green again and everything.
Yeah.
It brought all these people back into tribes and stuff. It's like they went back.
Yeah.
It's very tribe based. Like people worship the sun,
right?
Stuff like that. You take your role is you take Aloy. That's your main character is Aloy, and she's like this badass warrior that was pretty much made from the clone of this main scientist, and the machines kind of put it out there, or this AI put it out there to help humanity kind of take down the evil AI.
Oh, okay.
It's very confusing. I'm not even explaining it that well.
And then you found $5.
Yeah. But it's a very great game. It's amazing. If you haven't played it yet, sadly it's a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, well, when you buy your PS5 and you donate your PS4 to me,
gladly
I will play it.
Yeah.
That's how I acquire consoles.
I've pretty much I've put
the collector.
I put in over 80 hours into the game.
Nice.
It's very deep. There's a lot to do, a lot to collect. It's a sort of like an RPG where you have to build up weapons and build up your stats and everything. Which usually I hate games like that, but this one it doesn't walk you through it. It doesn't hold your hand necessarily, but it's easier to adapt more than let's say a Fallout game or a Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing if you haven't played it. Graphics are fantastic too. It's one of the most beautiful games I think I've ever seen.
Nice.
So,
very nice.
So we're in agreement at Super Mario Brothers 3 at 6, Street Fighter 2 at number 7, Horizon Zero Dawn at 8.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Now we talked about Mario 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Mario 3? Any more thoughts?
If you didn't know, the platform for that game is fucking fantastic because it's presented as a story. It's on a stage. That's why the curtains come and everything like that.
Yeah, it was based off of a stage play.
Yeah, which is fucking very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, my record for beating that game is probably about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
depending on which platform, because it's obviously released as a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Then it was featured in Mario All Stars.
Mhm.
Then it got re-released on Game Boy Advance as Super Mario World 4 or something.
Yeah,
a
something like
version of
that.
which I own. I fucking love that game. So depending on which version you get, the Ghost Ship and World 1 is fucking awesome. And the way you get to the Ghost Ship is on level 4. You have to find every single coin in that level. I think there's like 30 coins. You have to get every single one. Then this Ghost Ship appears, and it either gives you like a bunch of lives, or it gives you like a really cool like a P-wing or something, depending on which version.
Yeah.
I fucking love that game, dude. I play it every day as a kid. When I got Nintendo, I think for Christmas, I think that was one of the first games I got, and I still play it anytime I get it. I absolutely love the game. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but in my eyes, it is.
For a Nintendo game, it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
It really took the Nintendo to its limits.
yeah. I mean, there's
So-
great games on Nintendo, like Mega Man. You got your Zelda games, Metroid, all of that. But really, that's what made Nintendo the Nintendo system.
Yeah.
Besides the first Mario game,
Yeah.
but Mario 3, that's really what put it over the top. And
Yeah.
the replayability of it's still great too. Like whenever I hook up my classic system, I'll pop in Mario 3 and I'll try to do a quick little run through it. I mean, like Crispy says, there's those speedrunner guys that I watch that can finish that game in like 12 minutes.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
unbelievable, but I'm not that fucking good. I'm not that patient. I don't know how to read frames very well. So, I try to get it done about 20, 30 minutes. I try to find all my whistles and
Yeah.
just get to Bowser's Castle as quickly as possible.
Now I've tried to actually sit there and play every level,
Mhm.
and without like using P-wings or anything
Yeah.
like that.
It's tough.
I had it on my Wii U,
Yeah.
and at some point I just had to stop because I kept dying. I was
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit, I'm terrible at Mario games." But
What was cool in conclusion was the launching of that game. Have you guys ever seen that movie The Wizard with Fred Savage and
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck, what's his? I know that Jeff Bridge. Is it Bo Bridges?
Yeah.
He's in it.
Bo
Christian
Bridges,
Slater's in it. That girl that she ended up being in the Jenny something. She's a musician now, but before she was an actress. It was leading up to this the Nintendo Championship, and they introduced Super Mario Bros. 3 as the final game, which was really fucking cool. Because I saw the movie after the fact.
yeah,
I'd already been playing Super Mario Bros. 3 and everything, and I was like, oh, that's so fucking cool, and like all the shit and the secrets. The secrets of that game were the best,
yeah.
you know? And if you were a punk and you had to call the Nintendo hotline or read Nintendo, Power Magazine and all that shit, then that's your shit, dude. But I figured out all that stuff on my own.
Well, here's the interesting part, because I remember back then, it would be hearsay about secrets.
Oh, it's all word of mouth.
Yeah, it's like I heard from one kid, or I was.
And then he told 2 friends, and then they told 2 friends.
Pretty much.
And then they told 2 friends.
That's how you found out secrets, and
Yeah.
like especially back then.
Yeah.
Like even going into a game later that we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
that you don't really get that anymore because you can just look up strategy guides on
Online,
the internet or
yeah.
watch a YouTube video
Yeah.
if you don't know how to beat something.
Yeah.
But back
So-
then, there were no saves. You were committed.
Yeah,
You had to be.
You had to be. You only paused to take a piss and maybe go eat.
yeah.
But that's it. You didn't turn that shit off. That console got super hot.
Yep.
Super fucking had to put a fan on it to cool it.
Yep.
And the worst fucking thing that possibly happened to you was maybe you get stuck on a level and you're finally getting close to beat it and the fucking system goes off on you and you're just like no.
See, that's why I like that's why I like the Super Mario All Stars version of Mario 3.
Well, because it's got the save points.
Yeah, you can save it. It's a battery save.
Yeah.
But not only that, but the graphics also were
They were updated.
updated.
It looked cleaner.
Yeah.
yeah, and they kind of sort of made it look more like Super Mario World. So-
I really like. I mean, I like the fact that you have the battery save on the Mario All Stars version, but I like the grittiness. I just like the kind of discoloration
Yeah.
of the Nintendo.
The colorlessness.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just
they can only
It's
fit
my
like,
childhood, man.
They can only fit like 8 colors on the screen at a
Right.
time. Yeah.
The music, the soundtrack, it's just I love it.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But iconic.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
absolutely.
Any thoughts on Street Fighter 2?
Once again, it's just one of those games like NBA Jam where everyone's gonna play.
It was like crack through the neighborhood, man. It spread.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you find that one friend that has the Super Nintendo,
yeah.
and you would all play Street Fighter or Sega, and you'd all play Street Fighter at their house.
Oh,
You'd
not
have
just,
like
not just that, but back in the day where arcades used to be in
Yeah.
a 7-Eleven. Or you
Yeah.
would go, if you were playing,
Yeah.
I was in Little League, we'd go to batting cages. There was a fucking either
Street
Mortal
Fighter
Kombat
2.
or Street Fighter 2.
yeah, and Street Fighter 2 is is the most influential fighting game of all time.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Without that, we don't have
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat or Tekken or
Right.
Injustice, which Injustice has pretty much perfected the
Yes.
fighting game,
Right.
in my opinion. But yeah, I remember because we had it on Super Nintendo. Like that's how we first got it.
Yeah.
And I remember we'd always have like Luis and everybody come over, and we'd spend like hours playing
Yeah.
playing Street Fighter 2.
I remember we had a sleepover one night. We played Street Fighter 2 until like 4 a.m.
Yeah,
So
but and I do remember playing it in arcade.
yeah,
It's a lot harder. The arcade version's a lot harder, especially if you're not good working a joystick or the.
I'm good at
A-ball.
working a joystick, especially when I'm in the shower.
You
Yep.
fucking fornicator.
But yeah, it's I just actually purchased the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection on the Switch.
Oh,
No, nice.
So it has 12 Street Fighter games. Wow. It has all Street.
9 of them are Street Fighter 2.
Yep, they
Yeah.
are. It is. They have.
Street Fighter Alpha.
Yeah, they have Street Fighter 2, the new Warrior or whatever it's called, the World Warrior. They have Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2
Just the regular Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo,
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Part 2.
Yeah.
and then they have
Street Fighter 2
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
they have the Street Fighter Alpha games on
Yeah.
there, Alpha 1, 2, and 3,
And then
and
5.
then they have Street Fighter 3. The first, all 3 versions of Street Fighter 3,
Mhm.
which I had actually really never played before.
Yeah, I don't think I've
And
ever
those
played
games
Street
are actually pretty fucking awesome.
Fighter. Really
Yeah. And then they have the first Street Fighter game, which is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah. I tried to play it, and I was like, yeah, I can't play
The
this.
first time I played Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter, was at an arcade in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Interesting.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we'd probably played Street Fighter 2 at that
yeah.
point.
Oh yeah, because it was when we
Yeah.
were coming back from Arkansas.
So, yeah. But Street Fighter 2 pretty much perfected the fight game genre.
Yeah.
Or not perfected, but it laid the groundwork for all the new fighters now.
Yeah.
And-
Who was your guys' go-to in Street Fighter?
Chun-Li.
It's changed up for me. Like I tried to play as Guile, like I used to always, and
Yeah.
I'm fucking terrible as Guile now.
Yeah.
So I always go to Ken or Ryu.
Nice.
Like they're pretty much the same character in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
As the Street Fighter 2 series progressed,
They got different.
they did get different. The stats are different. The way they shoot Hadoukens are faster and slower. The Hurricane kicks are different. But I always go to Ryu or Ryu, excuse me,
Yeah.
or Ken.
I was kind of like either Ryu or like I don't know why I used to like to use Vega a lot actually. So
Vega was always hard for me to
Yeah.
use.
that's pretty good Vega.
Zangief.
Yeah.
I was always I
That's
rocked
true.
the shit with Zangief, man.
I also like
Fucking thyroid, bro.
Yeah.
I also like Sagat.
Yeah.
Sagat, and
Yeah.
I for a while was using Bison. I got pretty good at mastering Bison, and he just became quite just a character. I mean, Christmas 93, 94, I always forget which one. I got a Sega Genesis, and the only game I got was Street Fighter Championship Edition.
Now, did you have a Super Nintendo or were you
No,
a Sega
I didn't.
kid?
I didn't own one, but I had access to one. My neighbor had one. It was like I was a Sega, he was the Super
Yeah.
Nintendo guy. We went back and
So
forth.
now we had both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. What do you prefer, Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis?
This is a great
Nintendo.
question.
Nintendo.
My original list, I actually wrote the consoles for. I didn't include it in this list, but I actually chose it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Although my childhood was on the Sega Genesis a lot,
If you had a 6-button controller for the Sega,
It was
which I did.
yeah, Street Fighter 2 is very playable because it's a 6-button
Yeah,
fighting game.
I mean,
at least with Super Nintendo, you got the bumpers on top.
Yeah.
You know.
Because it came with one controller, and I had to go out and buy another one, and I bought the 6-button controller specifically for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And that was the only game I really had for the longest time. And I remember playing that game so much, I beat the whole game with almost every character. Balrog was almost impossible to beat Bison with.
Yeah, I
But,
fucking hate Balrog.
I would just play it, and I mean the music, the sounds, everything, it would get in my head, man. I would hear that shit. That game would, much like Tetris. If you play Tetris long enough, the game follows you outside.
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
You know, like if you got tiles on the floor, you're fucking.
I was so close to putting Tetris on my list, but I was like, it's so basic. I just can't put it on my list.
Hey, sometimes simple is good, but
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, Street Fighter 2, it's iconic. The fact I just paid $40 for all the Street Fighter games on the Switch.
Nice.
So
You're committed, bro.
that's how much I like Street Fighter. So that's Horizon Zero Dawn was number 8, Street Fighter 2 was number 7, and Super Mario 3 was number 6. Yeah. Now there's no more ties. Now we're getting to the nitty gritty of the list. One that we all can talk about, number 5. And I'm surprised it wasn't on either of your guys' lists. It was this got on here because of me. It was on me and Bubba's list.
Yeah.
But WWF No Mercy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The wrestling game.
The greatest wrestling game that has ever been created.
Of all wrestling games.
Yeah. There's only, like, I talked about NBA Jam, and there's a game that's coming up later on the list that I've played. I've just invested so many hours in. No Mercy is easily the third, like, the longest game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we still try to, if we ever get an N64, we still hook it up, and we still play it.
Yeah.
And it's been how long since that game has come out? 15 years almost?
No. Well, it's 2018.
Yeah.
That came out in 2001, I think.
Yeah, so it's
16.
been 16, 17 years since that game's been released. And the muscle memory is still there.
Yep.
With that game. It's insane how much time and effort I've put into this game.
Yeah.
It's another one of those games like Street Fighter, like NBA Jam, that when our friends would come over,
Oh, yeah.
we're playing No Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember because we had, Swanson, Schweppe,
Gerard.
We'd hook up 4 controllers because we had 4 controllers,
Yeah.
and we'd do like a ladder match or something.
Yeah.
And just doing all the crazy shit you could possibly do.
Yeah, just kick the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
That damn championship tree still haunts me. There's a few squares that I was never able to get.
Yep.
But yeah, the detail that went into this game, especially the creator wrestler,
yeah.
it was complex yet so simple. There was a lot of options that you can create a wrestler with, but the move list, I mean,
Nothing that, like, now creative move lists have gotten deeper since then,
yeah,
but nothing that we've ever seen before
yeah,
that.
and it was all you need. Like now, I mean, I haven't played a 2K WWE game in quite a while,
They're awful.
or haven't even created a wrestler in one of them. But the last one I remember playing, it's like, okay, you're gonna give your wrestler like 50 moves, but you can only do like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like, at least with No Mercy, it's like, okay, you've got your weak grapple, you've got your strong grapple, you've got your up A, down A, left, right A,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And it was enough. And then, I mean, just the ground moves, putting someone in the tree of woe, climbing up to the top of the ladder and giving them a drop kick. I mean,
That's what I always loved because, back then, ECW was still pretty hot, going into that before. And you could do the sliding Tree of Woe, kick that Tommy Dreamer would do.
right.
So that's what I loved about it. Like, just stuff like that. Or, and this, before No Mercy came out, they had time to really develop this.
Mm-hmm.
First it was WCW and WO World Tour,
Mm-hmm.
the AKI games,
Yeah.
which was actually a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Like I didn't play it until years after playing No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 and Revenge. But that was a pretty solid groundwork, and WCW or WCW versus the World technically also used that engine, but it wasn't as well done.
Right.
But then our first experience with this engine was Revenge, and I played the shit out of that game. I specifically bought an N64 just to play Revenge.
Yeah.
The first time I played it was at my friend Osama's. And I was like, "Holy shit!" We played it for like hours. Literally, his parents were like, he has to go home. Like, we don't want to. We're playing this. And then WrestleMania. Then finally, all we wanted was the WWE version. The WrestleMania 2000 came out, and they did it even better than Revenge.
Yeah.
And then No Mercy was like the culmination of just years.
It's like, enjoy it. It's never gonna get any better than this.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because virtual pro wrestling that people will say is actually the quintessential version of the AKA wrestling games.
Yeah,
like it's the last release of the THQ AKA wrestling games, which I want to play, but I can't find you have to get a patch on it, and I just don't want to put in that effort to do it.
Right.
But No Mercy, like, great memories with it.
Yeah.
I'd spend hours just creating wrestlers, and I love watching the computer fight it out.
Oh yeah,
I love watching simulating matches.
Yeah.
But Crispy, got any thoughts on No Mercy?
I actually didn't play No Mercy that much, if at all. Really, I don't remember playing No Mercy at that point. My video game playing had dwindled, but I did play a lot of wrestling games growing up in the '90s. They didn't make my list because my list was based on the games that I played just all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And I actually, did an inventory, and I remember which games I played specifically and how many times I played it. But if I had to throw a wrestling game onto my list, if the list had been expanded, Royal Rumble would definitely be on there.
For the
Super Nintendo. I had it for Sega, but I gotta say, when they had certain characters available for it, it just kind of was like, I felt more of the Super Nintendo appeal. WrestleMania, the arcade game, it's a train wreck. It's horrible, but it's got that goofiness, like when Doink can have the giant hand slap you and the buzzer and everything. It was like wrestling and kind of like combat with a little bit of Street Fighter thrown in there. I really enjoyed playing that game, and the way they would run. The old wrestling challenge, and they had like the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
I had Super WrestleMania for Genesis, which you can pick Hogan, Papa Shango.
We had it for Super Nintendo.
Shawn Michaels was in there. That was kind of fun. It was hard as fuck to play. I don't think I really got past like the second challenge, But I would say if I had to pick an all-time favorite wrestling game, WCW NWO World Tour was fucking good. I really did like that one. But I'd probably.
So have you played No Mercy?
I don't remember playing No Mercy, man. I really don't.
We might have to get that the N64.
I tell you what I played the fuck out of was Monday Night Raw on Genesis.
Yeah,
I played the fuck out of that game, man. I actually wore that game down. It literally stopped working. I played it all the fucking time.
Yeah, we'll have to find a 64 and play No Mercy.
Oh, you'll fucking love it, dude.
Yeah. But that's why I didn't put it on my list, because I just don't recall playing it.
As much as like I didn't care much for the N64. We had a few games for it. But the only two games I ever played were All-Star Baseball 2000.
Yep.
Or 2001, and No Mercy. And Mario Kart. Those are the only games I'd ever play.
Yeah.
And if someone said, "Okay, I'll give you the PlayStation with every single game that you want, or you get the N64 and just No Mercy," I would take this N64 and No Mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how great of a game it was and how fun it actually was, especially when you went into multiplayer.
Yeah,
mode.
like you said, you could go on and not play it for years and pick it up, and it's like riding a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like fucking in the shower.
But I know exactly what you mean about letting doing a simulation.
Yeah.
I told this story many times. Years ago, I took SmackDown versus Raw, 2008.
Yeah.
And I took every fucking slot for create a character, and I made my friends as wrestlers.
Yeah.
And the detail was down to as much as I can do it. Sanchez has a lot of tattoos. I can't replicate them, but the imaging is close. And I would be the booker, and I would book my friends to wrestle each other, created championships. I would sit in my garage for months, and I kept tally and notes. I'll bring the notebook the next time I come over if I remember. I was into that shit, dude, because that to me was more entertaining than the wrestling that was going on around that time. So I get you, man. I would just say, you know what? I'm not even gonna play. I just want to watch these guys go at it. Fuck it, Hell in a Cell. Let's do the shit.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on No Mercy?
That's enough.
You said enough. Whatever.
I do remember playing it.
Less is more.
And I do remember playing it, and it was really fun. But like, I think I didn't put it on there because like whenever I think of the N64, it was just like I always played Star Wars Battlefront on that one. You know?
Okay.
Did you play any wrestling games?
Oh, Mercy on there, yeah.
Well, I'm saying, did you play any other wrestling?
Oh, other wrestling games I played. Raw vs. SmackDown 2009 is the one I played a lot actually.
I've got that one.
I mean, I pretty much played every wrestling game from, for the most part, for the systems that I had. Like, I'd never played Royal Rumble for the Dreamcast or anything like that. But I think I've pretty much played every wrestling game released since probably Super WrestleMania came out. Or probably even before that, because we had WrestleMania for the NES, and then the sequel, then the next game that came out for the NES after that. Then years later, we played Steel Cage Challenge.
Yeah.
And King of the Ring and stuff like that.
Steel Cage Challenge. Game Boy also had King of the Ring, which was cool.
Yeah.
I remember also playing Attitude when that came out.
Oh yeah, we got.
That's the one I played a lot too.
Yeah. Attitude.
Not enough time, man. Not enough time.
That was the most stressful time of Bubba's life.
Oh my God! When they announced WWF Attitude, all right, it was set for an early spring release, like March or April, and then they're like April 15th. So I call it April 14th. Are you guys getting in WWF Attitude tomorrow? No, it's not coming out for another month. So I call another game store. No, it's not coming out till August. What? And then we're like, okay, well, I would call almost every single day, a different game store. Sometimes it's the same one. I try to disguise my voice. It's like, do you guys have WWF Attitude? No. And then finally one day I call Games for Less. Do you guys have WWF Attitude? Oh yeah, we just got it in. I'll be right there.
Click. It's all like I'm on the.
So
he's
I
already halfway
ran
there.
down there, and I remember I saved that money for the fucking game.
Yeah.
We ran down there, we bought it, and they actually released it before it was actually supposed to be released. So
Oh, I love Games for Less.
Yeah, another place.
rest in peace, Games for Less.
Yeah.
I got SmackDown early that way, like one of the SmackDown versus Raw
SmackDown,
games.
that one,
And then I actually think I got Gears too that way.
Oh, Gears.
So
Well, actually, like I remember I got WWF Attitude as like a birthday present, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
because we also played Warzone a ton.
a lot.
Warzone too, yeah, fucking
But
Warzone.
Attitude, it's weird. Attitude was such like for the time it was a good game. You go back to it now, it's so fucking shitty.
it's terrible.
But at the time that was a shit though. You're like, fuck yeah.
But No Mercy, it's best pick up and play wrestling game.
Yeah,
that you'll ever, and it's quick to learn. It's very easy to learn.
Yeah.
And it's one of those wrestling games that I think even non-wrestling fans played and had fun because Luis had it.
Yeah.
And that's when you weren't really hanging out with Luis that often, but he was pretty much like my best friend at that point.
Yeah.
So even like his like cousins and stuff who didn't like wrestling, we would have like No Mercy tournaments, and they all were good at the game.
I mean, because it was one of those games that was a simple beat 'em up game, but then as you got deeper into the game and increase the difficulty level, you have to use strategy.
Yeah.
So you can't just go out there and try to strong grapple yourself. You got to punch and you got to kick. You got to use the light grapple, and you got to utilize submission moves. And like it's like really one of the first games I've ever played where if you attack a body part, that body part's going to get weak, and then if you have someone like Chris Jericho who did the Walls of Jericho and you've been working the legs, the tap out will become a lot easier later on down the line.
Your strategy was to knock people out.
Oh yeah,
because you would always put the knockout uppercut as your finisher. So
I had the knockout uppercut and then that one mounting move where I would just get mount on the ground.
Oh, the Goldberg punches.
Yeah, the Goldberg
from Revenge.
punch. Yeah, and then the full Nelson camel clutch. So
I will also say that No Mercy was my first exposure to the Burning Hammer.
Yeah.
So you have to pay to unlock it, but in-game currency. It's not like today where
it's
you
real
actually have
money.
to spend money.
Yeah.
Take my credit card number.
Yeah.
Give me all the shit.
Yeah, they also have the Steiner screwdriver in it,
Yeah.
which is badass.
I had that move too
Yeah,
because it would knock you out.
yeah.
So
But yeah, No Mercy, number 5.
nice.
All right, the next game on the list is the EA NHL series with 13
Oh,
points
man.
at number 4.
I'm just gonna say this: there will never be a hockey game as great as NHL '94 for Sega
Yeah.
Genesis.
Now, when I originally did my list, I had NHL 94 on my list, but I also had NHL, I think it was like 2012.
Yeah,
Because like my original, we didn't group in the Mario games on because a lot of the Mario games are different.
yeah,
They play different. They have different mechanics. We decided to just group in NHL, the EA NHL series, despite the fact that the earlier generations are a lot different from today.
yeah,
But I've never seen a game that is so consistently good.
yeah.
Like even today, even going into today's games, where it seems like they put way too much in on online. If you just want to sit down and play a hockey game, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But NHL '94, it's again, I've said it a lot, but it's iconic.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one NHL game I think we all love to play.
Yeah.
You know, at my bachelor party, we had the NHL '94 tournament.
Which I won.
Yeah. So
And I was a close dead last, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I won.
I did a lot better than expected.
No.
So,
You're getting married. We let you have it.
oh, sure.
Yeah.
We can play it again.
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
No. NHL. I mean, I'm probably the biggest hockey fan at this table,
Yep.
and I've
No
always
arguments there.
I've always loved hockey. I've always loved hockey games. I've always loved the EA series. There was a period of time though where the EA series was kind of lacking, and the 2K series
Yep.
was kind of coming up in the ranks. I mean, with ESPN hockey. I mean, you had these ESPN hockey games that were fantastic. They were $20 each,
Yep.
and they were just fun, and they were so in depth, and they had a great like franchise mode and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And even just like the pick up and play ability.
Like when EA started going more arcadey, if
Yeah.
you were looking for like a more of a hockey simulation, 2K was your
Right.
and it's pretty much influenced how the NHL series is produced now.
Right.
So,
But like NHL 06, it was getting a little bit better. It was
Yeah.
arcadey still, but it was still a great simulation. There was that kind of like 07 to like 11
yeah,
or 2010 where the game just had a lag, and they were trying to get back into the simulation style hockey, but it was very choppy. It was
Well,
very slow.
they started introducing the skill stick
Yeah.
and the shot stick,
Yeah.
which I think really kind of took away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I use it now because I'm used to it now,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I remember when I bought, I think it was NHL 07.
Mm-hmm.
I got it home, I played it, I'm like, this is just not fun.
Yeah.
So I went and traded it in for
ESPN hockey.
well, at the time it was NHL 2K7.
Yeah.
So, but like for a while there, they were really trading
Mhm.
victories back and forth.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thanks, exclusive license.
yeah, fucking I hate taking all the good games away from us.
Yep.
So, but the reason this is on here is because NHL 94.
Yeah.
You know, we always take it back to like Swingers, even though technically that wasn't NHL 94.
Yeah.
Even though it's and same with Mallrats, like they use the NHL, like for some reason NHL 94 gets mentioned with Mallrats, but
Yeah.
that was a different NHL game.
Right.
Don't know why,
Yeah.
but like I said, iconic. It's fun. It's pick up and play.
Yeah. And during that era when EA Sports was really developing their sports games, like the football games weren't very good. The
No.
basketball games weren't good at all. The golf games were terrible. Tennis games were terrible. Soccer games were even pretty bad.
Yeah,
But they got hockey perfect.
it's
And they just improved from year to year to
Yeah.
year.
it worked on those hockey worked on those systems.
Yeah.
Because it was very chaotic. Like the AI wasn't really that smart,
Mm-hmm.
but it played like how people would play.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to turn the offsides off.
Yeah.
So, Crispy, got any thoughts on the EA NHL series?
I mean, they were great games, but for me, and it's on my list, the hockey game was Face Off '97. For me, that was actually that's the reason why I'm a Dallas Stars fan.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. It was on sale at Toys R Us. I got it, and I mean, really simple mechanics. And I just loved playing it, man. The Whalers were still on it too, which was cool. But I picked Dallas Stars. I played the entire season, took them to Stanley Cup, and won it. Which was I think a little before they actually made it happen in '99. But the fighting mode was the best. You know, when you would rough someone a little too much, and they would go to a cut screen, and then you would do like, you know, and you have the bar, and it was such a pain in the ass. I don't think I won any fights. I think it was completely difficult. And then you can switch from like your goalie being, you know, a computer, and you can take over the reins.
Yeah.
That was difficult as well, but I just fucking loved it, man. Just loved playing it. It was one of my, when I got into the PlayStation was really the last console where I was playing on a regular basis. But yeah, coming over and playing the EA games here at, you know, the studio, that's always fun. I always get my ass kicked, but I have a good time playing.
Oh, I thought it was you farting.
Nope.
You know, yeah, there you go.
Plus, I mean, you always had this.
Are you willing to donate your body? Got a problem with authority? Would you stop a speeding bullet? Are you afraid of the masked man? Come on, bring it on. Think you've got a game?
I miss video game intros.
Yeah.
Oh man, truly a
I
lost
want to
art.
play. I want to play right now. I have it. Let's go.
NHL '98 got Bubba back into hockey games.
Yeah.
Because I think we
Well, no, I played.
well, we had '96, but it didn't really, you didn't play it that often.
No, but I played the shit out of '97 for SNES. I'd always play with Colorado, and I would bring Curtis Lecision up the left wing side and take a slap shot from the blue line and score a goal every single time.
But NHL '98, you wore that game out.
Oh God, I still have my original copy of NHL
Yeah.
'98, and it still fucking works.
Yeah.
So
I got into hockey game back into, because I remember playing '94 with like Bubba and Unk. I
Yeah.
wasn't really any good at it,
yeah,
but I really got into playing the EA NHL series in 2000.
yeah,
I want to say it's the one that has Chris Pronger on the cover.
mhm,
That's pretty much what made me a Blues fan.
yeah.
Was that game.
Yeah.
But my favorite memory with the EA NHL series was me and Bubba's best of 7,
Yeah.
where we went and we played a different NHL game every time, because we had I think 15 different NHL games.
Yeah.
So we started out with '94, then we'd go to
90.
'97, then 2006 or
Yeah.
2011. And then I remember one time I beat Bubba with the Kazakhstanian national team. That was always my favorite victory.
Yeah.
in it. So
I have no idea how I lost that fucking game.
yeah,
I don't remember who I was, but
Yeah, but
I think I was like the Devils or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
But it was just because I think we picked random,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I'll play with him. I'll probably get my ass kicked, and I ended up winning. I was like, holy shit, how did I do that?
Yeah.
So I think that's the first time I've ever beaten you in a hockey game.
Yeah.
Now I could probably do it.
Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
play any new gen.
So, but Mike, do you have any thoughts on the EA NHL series?
I didn't play them all that much, to be honest with you. So
You don't really have that many sport. I don't think you have any
Yeah.
sports games on
yeah,
your
like
list.
I think
so.
as far as sports games when I was growing up, just like a lot of wrestling, and I played maybe a few baseball ones, but yeah.
Speaking of baseball,
Yeah, speaking of
Baseball.
baseball, at
Great segue.
number 3, we have the MVP baseball series with 15 points. Again, this is on the list because
me and you.
me and Bubba ranked it very, very high.
Yeah.
Before this, it was hard. It was hard to get a great baseball game.
Yeah.
There were baseball games we played. We played
Triple play.
triple play, Nolan Ryan baseball, which wasn't great.
RBI baseball.
RBI baseball. Sammy Sosa's
or what?
Sammy
Softball slam.
or Big Heat baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank
But-
Thomas Big Hurt baseball.
Yeah, Big Hurt. You got a lot of play out of.
Yeah, and that game's terrible.
Yeah, but the MVP baseball series, EA was just on it because this is when EA actually gave a damn and produced games that we actually wanted to play.
Right.
And they weren't just clones because they had the Triple Play series,
Yeah.
which weren't good. The best part about the Triple Play series is you take the codes, and before each, like, you'd have to put in like a series of commands before each pitch, and you could just like belt pitches like 1,000 fucking feet away.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite thing to do, and it was very comedic. Like, they'd have sound effects. It's kind of the route that the EA NHL series took. But then they're like, okay, we're going to do a new baseball game.
Yeah.
And it's an actual baseball simulation. And it's never been done as good.
No. It was a simplified engine that allowed you to do a whole 9-inning game within like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. But the pitching, they did it metered.
Yeah.
And you could actually place where you wanted the pitches to go.
Yeah.
Or where as long as you did it accurately, they would go there.
Right.
Excuse me, I had to burp. MVP Baseball came out in 2003. That was the first game.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, it got better and better.
Yeah.
As up until 2005.
Yeah. Well, I liked the college games too.
The college games were okay. I just wish they would have done a little bit better in the recruiting area and done it the way that the the football and basketball college games did. They didn't get as in depth with it, though. It is cool to kind of take a shitty school and turn them into like a powerhouse.
Right.
That was always my favorite thing to do with the NCAA football series.
Yeah.
And you could do that with the MVP Baseball 06 and 07.
Yeah.
But those MLB games, because they brought the minor league teams in, and the just the free agent, so
even the franchise mode.
Yeah,
like start building a stadium from the ground up.
Yeah,
like, and that was in the last MLB game, the 04
Yeah.
game. But very simple engine, and like Dave said, the games just got better and better and better.
Yeah.
And like even now, I don't play any baseball games now because they're all boring. Because they've gone back, they reverted back to being too realistic.
Yeah.
And you have to do a 9-inning game in an hour.
Yeah.
Well,
I play the show games, which are good.
Yeah.
They're really good, especially when that's the only baseball game around.
Yeah.
Really, the only quality baseball game
Stupid
around.
exclusive licensing.
Yeah, fucking 2K.
Yeah.
We're just praising them. Fuck them. They go to hell for taking that license away from EA. Bastards. But I have to say, one of my favorite things with the MVP baseball series is doing fantasy drafting. And I remember one time I did a whole team of speedsters.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like David Eckstein, Sean Figgins, just it was like Ichiro, and I think I had like the record for like stolen bases.
Nice.
And it wasn't. Another great thing is, even if you got all the best players on your team, doesn't mean that you were going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Because they actually kind of went in depth with it and different stats. If you just put power hitters on your team with no speed, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
Because you need a well-balanced team.
Perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
As all things should be.
Yeah. And the best part, you simulate through the season, and I won with that speedster team.
Nice.
And it's like, or playing with like the 2004 Angels.
Yeah.
When they got Vlad.
Yeah.
And you'd belt fucking homers with them with no issue.
Yeah.
I think, how many homers did you have? You broke the home run record with them in 2004, 2005.
I got like in 2000. No, it was 2003, the first one, right?
No, because that was the year
04.
after they won. So
yeah. So 04,
Yeah.
At the All-Star break, I had 97 home runs
with Vladimir.
Well, because there's a pitching pattern that he had. They would, if they threw the first two pitches, one was a strike away, one was a ball away, they were going to come up and in his hot zone. And then if the other pattern was if they're going to go high and away, low and inside, and then up and in.
Yeah.
So you just had to get your timing right.
That was another thing is when you're learning pitching in that game, there is a way to pretty much strike out everybody.
Yeah.
You just have to learn how to where to put your pitches,
Yeah.
and like pretty much you can strike a lot of people out once you learn that pattern. So
I threw a few no hitters and a couple perfect games.
yeah,
So,
but getting to that point is also fantastic. Learning that and really earning it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I haven't been that like felt that rewarded in a baseball game
right.
before that or since.
Yeah.
And I wish EA would do another baseball game. You know, they put a lot of stuff into FIFA and Madden now,
Yeah.
but they really need to somehow do an MVP baseball game.
Yeah.
People need to start buying baseball games
Yeah.
again.
Well, they did that MVP baseball online game in Japan and
yeah,
never transferred over here.
but that was
Number 3.
yeah. Did you guys play the MVP baseball series?
No,
No. Okay, so they don't have any thoughts on it.
not at all.
If you have a chance, got a PS2, go play.
Okay,
it.
dude. Okay.
All right. Number 2, and this was number 1, like
on my list
for a while, and it was and it's Super Mario World with 17 points. To me, this is the perfect Mario game.
It's the greatest Mario game ever made.
I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
As far as like side-scrolling Mario games, it doesn't get any better. Now, I'll say maybe Odyssey might have been better,
Yeah.
but you guys haven't played
I haven't
Odyssey.
played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as 2D side-scrolling Mario games, it doesn't get any better than this.
When they took Mario to the next level,
Yeah.
per se, they really hit it out of the park with Super Mario World. The gameplay, the concept, the story, it's perfect, really.
Now, you can't sit there and, it has a battery save,
It does,
which
yeah.
is awesome. But you can sit there and play through the whole game in like
One sitting.
in one sitting, as long as you know all the secrets and everything.
Right.
But that's one of the very few games where I actually love to play without any of the secrets and play all the
Right.
levels. And really just kind of earn it. It's very interesting.
You know, and then like Yoshi, when you get a Yoshi,
Yeah.
you got to build up to it before it becomes, you're able to actually, hop on top and go through the level.
I always loved the different colored Yoshis. And,
Yeah.
I always loved getting like a blue Yoshi.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite thing to do.
And this is the first game that introduced Yoshi.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Which would eventually lead to Yoshi's Island, which is also a fantastic game.
yeah.
If you can get over that fucking crying baby Mario, I fucking hate that thing. So, but again, they take the groundwork of Super Mario 3 and they just build upon it
Yeah.
and just produce, in my opinion, a perfect side scroller,
Oh yeah.
a perfect side scrolling platformer.
Yeah.
You won't get any better, in my opinion.
No.
So, got any more thoughts on Super? Because I know we want to wrap this up.
everything that's been said about Super Mario World for SNES has been said. I mean,
It's fucking great.
there's a reason why people consider this the greatest video game ever made, and all you have to do is just plug it in and play.
Yeah.
So
It sells itself.
yeah, it really does. I mean, there's nothing to say about it that hasn't been said before.
Crispy, you got anything?
No, I mean, Bubs is right. It's, my all-time favorite will always be 3, but, I'll be damned if World isn't a close second.
Yeah.
It's just a fun game. It's a game you get lost in. You sit down, start playing that game, you lose track of time, and you fucking look, it could be daylight when you start playing. You look outside, it's fucking nighttime. You've been playing it for fucking hours.
Where did the time go?
Yeah, it's just, there's really nothing... I think nothing really bad about the game. Every little detail works. Some of the characters they introduce, some of the classics. I always love playing, the haunted houses with Boo and the kind of eeriness, a little music that would play. I think it's great. I love it.
The secrets in that game are especially fun because
Yeah.
you have to earn them to get them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
There's no
Glory holes in that game.
Yeah.
there's no greater accomplishment than beating every single level in Star World. So
yeah, I still haven't been able to do it
I did
without
it.
cheating.
I've done it
So.
once, and I'm like, I'd never have to play this game ever again. But I'm still going to.
I also love when you beat Star World and beat the secret level after that, how it turns into fall.
Yeah.
That's always a cool thing to see. So, and then like all the Koopa Troopas get Mario's head for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like a Halloween thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a perfect platformer. So, but so yeah, that was number 2 at 17 points, and number 1
Surprisingly.
with 23 points and Mike is the one who put this over at number 1, was the Gears of War series.
Yeah.
I bought Gears of War on a hunch. I just read, it's pretty good. I didn't really play it for the first month I had it. I played it a couple hours there. I was like, oh, it was okay. And then I started playing it again. And I was like, holy shit, this game is fucking badass.
And then I started playing it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this game is
I remember it was
badass.
when I first got the consoles and stuff. That was one of the first games that I played because I went to GameStop and I got kind of just a few games that look cool. And I heard some stuff about it. And then from that very first game, I was like, I was fucking hooked, dude.
I love when I could used to been able to just buy any video game I wanted
Yeah.
because I had the disposable income.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got Gears on a hunch.
Yeah.
Didn't know I'd like it. And then Bubba saw me play it, and he was like, this game is badass. Then you started playing, and you're like, okay, this is really badass.
And at the time, I wasn't playing any type of game that was like an adventure game or first-person shooter or anything. I was playing strictly sports games.
Yeah.
And I picked this one up, and I'm like, dude, this game is fucking badass. I've never. That was the first time that I really played a video game, and I got invested into the story, into the franchise, really.
Yeah. Because it's graphic. It's really good storytelling.
John
DiMaggio
Yeah,
as Marcus
and
Phoenix.
I mean, it was the voice cast, and there was levels out there that were legitimately creepy. I remember playing it on the first game. There was a level where you had to go. It was at nighttime. It was raining, and those I forget the name of those.
Fucking Krill.
Yeah, and
I
that was just
fucking hate that
fucking
level
creepy
so
as
much.
fuck, dude. But it was fun. I was like, oh my god, dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
That-
was like, this,
The Krill level where you
Yeah.
have to stay in the light.
yes,
If you go outside the light,
Yeah,
you
you're
fucking
fucked.
get
Yeah.
instantly killed.
yeah,
I hate that level. It took me forever to
Yeah.
finish.
Yep.
But it actually took me a long time to beat this game. I actually couldn't beat it. I got to the first game. I got to what's his name, General Ram,
yeah.
and I couldn't figure out how to beat it because they're like, you're supposed to wait until the Krill leave them, and then you have to take the sniper rifle and just shoot the hell out of them.
I
And
remember
could never
playing-
do it.
I remember that there was a level in the first game where you it was the first time you ever faced a berserker, and where you had to run away from him. And I remember crouching in a wall, boom, that motherfucker runs to the wall, and because I was like, son of a bitch.
But
It's fuck, yeah.
it took me forever to beat the first game. Finally did it,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool because you got
Yeah.
General Ram as
Yeah.
a playable character online,
Mm.
which is always kind of cool, even though you get killed because he's gigantic.
No.
So
I'd always kind of been a fan of a shotgun in the game, but that Nasher shotgun, dude, I was like a fucking till this day, dude. I'm a fucking surgeon with that thing, dude.
I
can
love the
fucking-
chainsaw gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's
Oh,
what
the
put
Lancer?
it over.
The Lancer, yeah.
Yeah, just being able to just go up to
Yeah, that was fun too. Yeah.
going up to one of the enemies and just sawing somebody in half.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, that relieves so much stress.
Oh, yeah.
See blood splatter all over the place.
That's one of the reasons why I'd be at I come home from work and I'd be like, fuck this place, and just fucking just
Oh.
fuck some locusts up, you know.
Yeah. But and
So-
then when Gears 2 came out, me and Bubba actually played that co-op.
Yeah, we played
Oh,
that co-op and we finished it in one night.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So we did the entire campaign in one night.
My only issue with it is the main bad guy is fucking
Too easy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
that
stupid.
was
You
it.
just take the gun and just
Mhm.
Shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The what is it called? The
Ah, god damn it, what was it called?
Dawn or something of Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was. Yeah, it was.
When you first get that weapon, it's so badass
Mhm.
because
The-
you
oh,
just
hammer-
see
Dawn.
Hammer
of
Dawn, that's
You
what it
just
was,
see
yeah,
this
it's
light, just this
Yeah.
beam of just
Yeah.
light destroy somebody and make it just explode them. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. But that's my only problem with the second game,
The second game was more focused on the online play.
Yeah, that's
which
what it was.
I actually did play online quite a bit. It's
Mhm.
one of the very few games I actually did get along. I actually did get pretty good at it too.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was putting sticking grenades into the wall and
Yes.
having people just run into them and blow them
Fuck
up.
yeah.
Oh, I love that doing that. People fucking bitch about it. People do, oh, it's such a cheap way to
Fuck
win. Well,
you,
you're the one who
yeah.
fucking ran into
It's
it.
war, baby.
But of course, the perfection was for me anyway.
Yeah.
Was Gears of War 3,
Yeah.
Gears
especially
th- yeah.
especially with the multiplayer. I remember playing with our friend Steven Thunderhorse, and dude, we played the shit out of that multiplayer many times.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably been my favorite horde mode on that game.
Yeah.
Especially playing online, dude. We go for hours on that shit.
But again, we played co-op
Co-op.
Yeah.
and
Oh man,
Gears
when,
3.
when Dom finds his
Dude,
wife,
fuck yeah.
finally, I went into rage mode myself, man, because like I said, it's just really the only video game I've ever played, and the story just
Yeah.
captivated me, and
Mhm.
I was invested
Yeah.
emotionally. I was like, I'm not stopping.
Wasn't
until
only
I
with
fucking-
that, but like you wanted to find out what happened to his wife Maria, and you're just like,
Right.
fuck, is she alive? And so.
Once you see her, and then you just pretty much like you're just focused on like killing
Fucking some
everybody
shit up.
as
Yeah.
brutal as possible.
Yeah.
So,
God, I love that game.
but again, it took everything that was good about.
I was thinking about selling my Xbox. I might keep it around for a little bit longer.
It took everything that was good about the first two games,
Mhm.
and it just combined everything. And again, online was great. Horde mode is fantastic to play online.
Yeah.
But after that, I didn't really play the Gear series.
Me either.
Like I had a chance to play Judgment, and I was like,
I played some Judgment Day. I didn't care
Yeah.
for it, but like I was telling Crispy, I just recently acquired Gears of War 4 again, and it's a good game.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So
now I became a play because I was a 360 guy.
yeah,
Because I had the PS2. It took forever to get the PS3
Mhm.
for them to release that. So I'm like, fuck it. I want an next gen console, so I'm gonna get a Xbox 360. Glad I did. And then I was like, you know what? I was hearing bad shit about the Xbox One, so I'm
Mhm.
like, I'll go to the PS4.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to play Gears 4. If I can
It's fun.
find a cheap enough Xbox One just so I can play that. There's a few games I want to play for Xbox One, but
well, I can always over
yeah.
bring mine over and we'll fucking
Yeah,
play. So.
but I didn't have a good experience with Judgment. I borrowed
didn't
it.
either, yeah.
I
It wasn't
borrowed
really-
it from Ryan,
yeah,
and I was like, yeah. I played it at a 24-hour game-a-thon
Yeah.
for the chair. Like it was, with the whole
Yeah.
Danger Inc. crew and everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm not real big into this.
yeah.
game.
Well, I think a lot of
So-
like what they tried to experiment with and get on that game, they like took it away and they fixed it and they put it back into
Yeah.
4. So
but
because 4's pretty solid.
yeah, but the original trilogy of that.
Yes.
I mean, to me, as far as the way it looks and taking the capabilities of the 360 and really pushing it beyond its capabilities, you won't find a better series, in my opinion.
It's better than Halo.
So like in the
Yeah.
multiplayer though, like okay,
Yeah,
like if
easily
you guys
better
were gonna
than
play
Halo.
like the multiplayer, like who would always be Dom and who would always be Marcus?
I didn't mind either of them. I
Yeah.
like both.
Yeah.
So
I think I was always
you always Marcus. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're always
Marcus.
first controller.
Yeah.
because I would
Yeah, that's true.
like buy the game. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll be
So
first.
I didn't
Yeah.
care because I said I love the
Yeah.
Dom character. So.
So after Dom dies and you take control of
And then the
Yeah.
chick, right? No.
No,
Who
you
are
take
after
contr-
Dom dies.
Baird.
Baird. I'm sorry, Baird. Yeah.
it's not Baird. It's the fuck. I always forget his name.
Cole.
Linebacker.
Oh
Cole.
yeah.
Cole, yeah, I'm sorry,
Cole.
Cole, yeah.
Woo!
Woo! Coltrane, baby. Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
I love his linebacker skits. The
Yeah.
Office linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, look up Office Linebacker.
Yeah,
on
it's fucking
YouTube.
funny.
Yeah.
The guy that does Cole's voice,
Mhm.
he's the actor, and those are fantastic.
I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
Yeah. I always wanted to see a Gears of War movie. Sadly, I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Dude, I want a Gears of War movie. I'll fucking make the movie. Let's fucking do it. Just fucking,
It's like who would you cast though? I mean,
That was always my thing. Like I don't know why. Like if because you have the voice of
John
Mark.
De- yeah, Marcus
Yeah,
Phoenix,
yeah, but
John
it's like,
DiMaggio,
but like I don't know if you really put him in like as that in the movie, but
Josh Brolin.
dude,
Yeah.
Josh
Yeah,
Brolin,
Josh
fucking
Brolin.
anything fucking Josh Brolin, fuck yeah, dude, I'm fucking down
Josh
for that.
Brolin, throw Tom Hardy in there.
Yeah, dude.
Just get the guy who does the Colt's voice.
Yeah,
Because he's
Yeah.
a huge guy. He can
Yeah.
play-
Yeah, that's
he-
true.
He can play Coltrane.
yeah.
So.
But like I would shoot it if I was directing. I would have like a lot of those, like how they did a lot of those cutscenes in the movie, just very like handheld, very warish type. Where we're just like they'd be fucking great, dude.
Yeah. It's like as much as I would love to see a Gears of War movie adaptation, I don't because video game movies always suck.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it'd probably get killed somehow, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, the Gears of War series, as far as third-person shooters, story-driven games, to me, that's perfection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You won't get any better than that. And this is coming from somebody who loves Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Who again, it's a third-person perspective, but it's not a shooter.
Which I think probably
So-
like the good thing about Horizon Zero Dawn for you is because it kind of fills that like gap, right?
It is sort of.
Yeah.
It does remind me of Gears. I
Yeah.
think that's why I like it so much. So.
Because like until until Gears 4 came out, there was no future of it.
Yeah,
anymore,
because
so.
I was looking for like a Gears game on the PS4, and people were like, "Well, 1884, The Order or whatever it's called, was sort of
Sounds
like
okay.
that." But I was hearing bad shit about that.
But
game,
I've heard a lot of
so-
great stuff about Horizon Zero Dawn. So
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, Gears of War. If you haven't played it, and you have a 360, play all 3 games.
Yeah.
It's as good as it gets as far
Yeah.
as a shooter goes.
Mhm.
A lot of people, well, I mean, there's a lot of third-person games like Grand Theft Auto is fantastic.
Mhm.
It's iconic. Red Dead Redemption is the same
Mm-hmm.
thing, but Gears 3, it's not open world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
linear,
Mhm.
But it's got the right amount of just goriness,
Yeah.
just fucking, it's brutal. It's
and
fucking
the
awesome.
online is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the fat list.
Yeah.
So, number 10 was Crash Bandicoot. Number 9 was NBA Jam. Number 8 was Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 7 was Street Fighter 2. Number 6 was Super Mario Brothers 3. Number 5 was No Mercy. Number 4 was the EA NHL series. Number 3 was MVP Baseball series. Number 2 was Super Mario World, and number 1 was Gears of War series.
Yeah.
You want to go through each other's lists
Sure.
really quick?
Real quick.
Okay. Let's see. Let me find my list. Hurry up. Hurry up, David. I'll go first since I came up with the list.
Oh.
So, number 10, I put Street Fighter 2. Number 9, I put Rock Band series / Guitar Hero.
Oh.
Number 8, I put Super Mario World. Number 7, EA NHL series. Number 6, EA NCAA football series.
Great game.
Number 5, No Mercy. Number 4, Gears of War. Number 3, MVP Baseball. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption. And number 1, Horizon Zero Dawn. Mike?
For me, number 10 was Crazy Taxi. I loved number 9, Simpsons Road Rage. Number 8, Injustice. Number 7, Sonic. Number 6, Arkham Asylum. Number 5, this game I love, Army of Two series. Of course, number 4, Twisted Metal. Number 3, Crash Bandicoot. 2, Halo. And of course, number 1, Gears of War series.
My top 10. Number 10, Crash Bandicoot. Number 9, Beavis and Butthead, specifically for Sega Genesis, but the Super Nintendo version was also great. Number 8 was NHL Face Off 97. Number 7 was Super Mario World. Number 6, Pokemon, Game Boy.
Pokemon!
Number 5, NBA Jam. Number 4, Resident Evil. Oh my god, I can go on for hours about that game. Number 3 was Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. That was on Game Boy. Very addicting video game. I still play it to this day. It's unbelievable. Number 2 was Street Fighter 2, and number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
Number 10, I had Super Tecmo Bowl. Great game. Another game I played to death. Number 9, Turtles in Time for SNES.
I was so close
fuck.
to putting that
That
on.
was
I
that
know,
one.
man.
Yeah. I just couldn't do it because we never owned the cartridge.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't put a game on there that I haven't owned.
That's true.
I don't give a shit. That
I
was
mean,
a
you
fucking
owned
great
the game, you just didn't physically
Oh,
own it.
Yeah.
basically. Number 8, NBA Jam. Number 7, Mario Kart series. Number 6, WWF No Mercy. Number 5, the Gears of War series. Number 4, the MVP Baseball series. Number 3, Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Nice.
Number 2, EA NHL series. And number 1, Super Mario World.
Yeah. That's good.
I couldn't put a whole lot of new games on there because I haven't played a new gen game yet.
That's true,
So,
yeah.
I know, mine is just the 90s. What can I say?
Bubba will have to play the new gen series when the newer
when the
gen.
newest
You're right.
gen series
Yeah.
comes out. So
I'll have to bring over the Switch so we can do like a Street Fighter 2 tournament.
down.
I have to buy.
I'm
I have to buy some good controllers though. It's hard to play Street Fighter 2 with the Joy-Cons.
Well, I mean,
So-
I'm sort of trying because Jeremy has an Xbox One,
Yeah.
and we got a couple games with the new NHL game, and
Well, you could buy the Street Fighter collection for that.
Yeah.
probably,
So-
I probably might look into it, man. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Coming over mine for sure.
It's only like $40.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot of, I mean, I do see these commercials. I mean, a lot of these games are getting really creative, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of a gamer these days, but maybe I'll pick something up and get lost in it.
I've been getting lost in Switch games because I just got it. Super Mario Odyssey is fucking fantastic. If you have a Switch, play that game. So
Switch it up.
yeah, it's. I didn't think I'd like it because I liked the Galaxy games.
Yeah.
But I didn't like them that much. But this game, like, it has an open world feeling to it, or it is open world pretty much, and it's a collectathon.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice.
So yeah.
Play it one day. All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, boys.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well,
It was a long ass episode.
yeah.
Yeah, I
a
didn't
little
think
bit
it
too
would
long.
be, but here we are.
We only do like an episode like once every month. So
Yeah.
Pretty much, we'll do it all in one shot.
yeah. So
But we'll come up with the list, and hopefully we'll be back next week for you guys. And
yeah.
as always, we're your hosts. I'm Bubs,
Debo.
Mad Mike.
I'm Crispy.
and keep on jiggling, you fat fucks. I'm Bubs. Fuck in the shower.
Lady wants to roll in the hay. We turn the lights down all the way. 'Cause I don't look good naked anymore. No, I don't look good naked anymore. I'm a deep fried